We rocking and rolling? Rocking and rolling. Okay, so we got the Jeffrey Epstein island stream. We're getting down into it right now. So we're gonna go look at the island that Jeffrey Epstein last owned. I think a lot of the mystery, when it comes down to it, is all about Jeffrey Epstein's island. Because it's like, what happened to it? How did this man purchase this massive island? And it's like, what's going on with it now? Did the government take it? Is it still in his ownership? Like, I really don't know. That's what we're gonna find out today. So I know the island name is Little St. James. I'm gonna load up that Google Earth, get it going, you know? Did it save it as Jeffrey Epstein Island stream? It did. Okay, so we're going to Little St. James. Make the music a tiny bit lower. Okay, I got you. How's that? Is that better? How are we doing, Daniel? Yak, what's going on? You having a good night? Here, let me change it like this. You got COVID? What happened, man? Did you get the vaccine? That's honestly crazy how people are getting it a second time. I know like multiple people that have gotten it, like it's like their second time. I have my sister works in the hospital, and dude, it is crazy what's going on. It's like right when everything was getting back to normal, it's like bam, you get hit with it again. Yeah, I bought like my VidCon ticket. Both doses. Are you gonna get a third booster shot? I don't know if I have to like schedule that or like another thing we gotta worry about, you know? But I had my VidCon ticket, I was all ready to go. I live in Anaheim, so I was stoked to like see everyone come down. And then it was like a couple days ago they announced they were canceling the whole thing. So I kind of predicted it, you know? Because it would like, I know like a lot of the F1 races, they're like shutting them down right now. But okay, so Jeffrey Epstein's island. So it's called Little St. James. And I was kind of looking at it the other day, so what's weird about it, so if you look at any of the satellite imagery that shows up in Google Earth, it'll tell you when the satellite photo was taken. So like, so this is like the main island right here. So if, he would have to fly into this airport right here called Sorel. So you fly into that airport and then you take like a boat and then you come around over here and it's not this island, it's this one right here. So here's what's a trip. So if you look at the satellite photo on the corner right here, it'll say 4/19/2019, and I'll tell you, okay, so that's like, it's taken in 2019 in April. And that was kind of like right as the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing was coming to light. So a lot of the images, they're not updated, but if I go like, maybe like a half a mile up, it'll say like, oh, it was updated in 2020. So it's like, I don't know if there's a grand conspiracy to not take photos of the island, because maybe they're doing some sketchy stuff, you know, who knows? But man, you look at this thing and it's like, oh, what was he doing here? Like, you got the temple right there. You know, you could barely see it. And then over here, you have like this giant sundial. Like I don't, like, is someone really going to come out of here and like crawl all the way up to this little sundial? I'm like, oh, cool. It's like 3 o'clock, you know? Like, I don't think so. I don't really think anyone was doing that. And then you got like the guest house and all this kind of stuff. So some more research I was doing into it is what's happening to the island. Is it, you know, does the family still have it? Is it, did the government take it? So I guess there's a massive lawsuit right now with the government, the United States government trying to take it over. I found out all this crazy stuff. Like, I really want to do a video about this, but a lot of it is like any stuff that's kind of been in the news. So like the Hunter Biden thing, Jeffrey Epstein. I had a Bill Cosby video like all ready to go, but stuff like that that's in the news cycle, it just doesn't get, I don't know if YouTube suppresses it or not, but the island, the YouTube island, that's what we're going over right now. It's going to be sick. Okay, so what happened to this island? Jeffrey Epstein Island. So the weirdest thing about this is the government's trying to take it. The trippiest thing to me is that I guess I've seen videos on YouTube of people like trying to like sneak into the island. And there's like people actively like living on it. And these are videos that came out like months ago, which is a trip. I know. I want to go to the island. I was reading somewhere that that it kind of turned into like a tourist spot. Like you have all these random YouTuber kids like heading down to the island. Like, oh, we're gonna go to Jeffrey Epstein's island, but they have like a whole security. Let me find one of those videos because it was a trip. There was all these people that like came out when they were on the boat. And then I don't know if you guys saw, like it was like right as the whole thing was happening, someone got a drone and then they like flew up on the thing and like took a drone shot of the whole island. And you know that big temple that they had, like here, the Jeffrey Epstein temple. You know what I'm talking about. That thing was like infamous, you know? So there was like a hurricane that blew through, I think it was recently, there was a hurricane that blew through and then it knocked off this gold top that was right here, which is a trip. And it's like they couldn't find it. Like the thing just went missing in the ocean. Like, I don't know if it was a real gold top, but the thing's gone. So if you look at it now, it's just like this, looks like that, you know? And that's what made the temple so nice. You know, you had that gold top. It was like, cool, I'm gonna go pray there. Like, but I guess the thing was used as like a library or something. I don't know if you guys know about that. But yes, there's a full-on temple that, well, it was in the shape of a temple, but it wasn't like actually used for religious purposes. Like, there's no photos of actually people inside of it. But rumors being it was like a Roman, I think it was like a Roman bathhouse or something. It was a total trip. Jeffrey Epstein Temple. I mean, the amount of stuff this guy did was so weird. And a lot of the news stories I hear are just about how it's like, oh, it's, you know, the woman. And obviously that's tragic for them. Like, you know, I feel bad for them and it's a terrible story. But no one's really like, what's, like, so many questions are unanswered. Like, who was this guy? Like, how could he buy this island? They say the island, he bought it for like $8 million in like the early 90s. And then today it's worth like I think it's like 80, $90 million. Like, just absolutely nuts. Okay, so here's the drone video. The guy from the channel We Are Change went there close to a year ago. Yes, that's the video, I think. That's the video. Yeah, I think we're talking about the same video. That's the other weird thing. It's kind of like this, to me, it looks like a Greek, you know, kind of like some like Greek bathhouse thing. But here, let's look at it right now. The We Are Changed. Yeah, let's look at that video, because that video, a real trip. Do you guys know a lot about the Jeffrey Epstein thing? Have you guys heard about it? We Are Changed YouTube. These guys right here. Let's take a look. I'm curious. I want to see. Oh my god, so much editing. Oh shit, so they actually like went on the island. Oh damn, this is like exactly what I was looking for. Good call.
Well, hello from Jeffrey Epstein's island. Walking around the whole island, there's like no one here. Very interesting place. The swimming pool looks like it's in good shape, so oddly quiet here. What?
How's the volume? Is it all good?
Shit.
Previously working inside of Trump's administration that somehow was connected. Again, the interconnectedness of Jeffrey Epstein is just absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, we're talking about
wait, why does this guy look so familiar? I feel like I've seen him before.
Leaders, bankers, the most influential people who were on that island, and there was really no one else to verify it. All of I've really seen from independent media is a guy who is anonymous.
The mainstream news. And we're talking about how Bill Clinton's going there, Prince Andrew's going there.
Dude, are they actually?
And no one is, it's really, it was just like so out in the open. They were so brazen that they're like, well, no one can arrest us. We're involved with all.
Damn. Is it not working? Video's too choppy? This is what I get. I have an iMac and the thing just, man. I need that big gaming PC, you know? Only the YouTube, not your camera. Yeah, I was watching that on the thing. It looked all like it wasn't chill. I know if I was watching that, I'd be really pissed. I'd be like, come on, man. Like, this thing sucks, dude. I'm not gonna watch this half-decent video that's all choppy. Do you guys know who this guy is? I feel like I've seen him before, or is that just me? He looks
because we were staying at some kind of resort. We're at Joby Weeks, and he's like an OCD kind of traveler. But
it looks really choppy. But yeah, you can see it right there. So the gold on the temple was like taken off. You can just like fast forward it. So they'd actually go inside. Dude, good call on this video. This is like exactly it. I'm sorry I can't play it all the way through. The thing just looks so bad. Or if you guys are down, I mean.
That's when he goes, if you're going to do it, you got 5 seconds.
What a beautiful island, honestly.
You're like, Jeff, come. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
I remember in the back, I'm like, he's giving me 5 seconds. I quickly put on my shoes. I'm like, do I have my cameras? Okay, luckily I had my cameras in my pockets. And I'm like, Jeff, come, let's go. And you're like, okay.
I want to know is why so many rich people
I'm not going to be on my own. I would be terrified on my own.
Thing. So there was like a lot of rumors that what Jeffrey Epstein was doing is that they had this elaborate network of like these hidden cameras that were hidden throughout all the rooms. They'd bring in all of these like big celebrities and like politicians. And they would bring them in to go party. And then they would have underage minors, that would be in there and they would, do their thing with them. And then they would capture the stuff on video. And then they would, supposedly they would hold it against them as like blackmail. Like, hey, you were here for a party. You were super drunk. Like we have videotape of you, having sex with, a minor. And then supposedly from that, the government would use it or company. It's not really too clear, but I'm sure from them doing the raid, they would find out like, oh, there's cameras hidden everywhere. But that's only a rumor. I don't know how true it is. The whole thing is just so weird. I feel so like, I don't feel complete. And it is a genius. I mean, it's pretty smart. What's up, Logan? How we doing? What's going on, buddy? We're chilling tonight. We're chilling. Just doing a late night Jeffrey Epstein stream. Like the usual. Like I know Ninja used to do streams like this. Big Jeffrey Epstein mysteries. But yeah, the whole thing is just so weird. It's like, this happened like 3 years ago, and I'm like more confused than ever. I don't know if that's just me, but I want some answers. And maybe this is it. We'll see. These people do live in a different universe. But yeah, the whole thing of the blackmail. Here, let's look it up right now. Jeffrey Epstein blackmail. Okay, yeah, so right here. Oh, this June 10th, 2020. Or 2021. So that was like a big rumor is that he kept like, he had these like big files on all of the people that would come onto the island. And it was, videotapes and documents, just basically like, and then it's unknown what happened to it, but supposedly like, I mean, the one theory is that the CIA helped him buy the island. And then it was the government using these like black market, well, not black market, but you know what I mean? Blackmail. Will Epstein's girl get suicided or will she have her day in court? I think Ghislaine Maxwell is going to have her day. I mean, they keep like postponing it. I mean, you had COVID that like postponed so many court cases. But I feel like enough. I mean, I don't really think it mattered because people were so enraged about Jeffrey Epstein about, oh my God, everything going on and, rightfully so. But nothing really came out of it. But with Ghislaine Maxwell, I feel like, you know what? She could honestly get suicided, and I feel like people would be like, oh man, like, that's what we all expected, Like, what else? But hopefully, her day in court comes out, and it's the documents that we want. I don't want that stuff to be like a sealed court documents where it's like, I want to know, what happened? Like, how could this guy do this for so many years? I think the craziest thing is that Jeffrey Epstein, I think it was like 2007. Jeffrey Epstein arrest. So okay, yeah, so it was 2006. He was arrested by the Palm Beach, Florida. So that was for having, sexually abusing a 14-year-old girl. And that was like a whole case that took like a while to even come out. So after that, he basically had this deal where he would only have, 13 months in custody with a extensive work release. So he would only go to the jail from like Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, they would like let him go and do whatever. No. It was 8 to 5. He was free from jail. And it was just at night he had to come back. and then the weekends he had off. So it wasn't even like you're going to jail. It was more like a job for him. That was like the deal they got set up, which is like, you know. But after he did that, this guy was a known sex offender. Like, this guy had the register on all of the sex offender registries and everything else. And Bill Gates still dealt with him. Like, you think it's someone at Bill Gates' level, everyone who he gets in contact with to possibly work, he would do like some background information. But he ran that full-on charity, you know, that they had going on. It was I guess he was going to invest like all... Yeah, he described them as interesting. It's like, come on, man. Because that was another thing I was looking into. It was the documents that... What exactly was it? It was Bill Gates had his foundation, and then Jeffrey Epstein and him became, you know, decent friends and good contact. And then Bill Gates knew people that worked at like some crazy bank, like Chase Manhattan or something like that. And then they were going to negotiate this deal where they were going to like donate, I think it was like $10 million to start this new foundation. And then Jeffrey Epstein was going to be the dude who like ran the whole thing. This was like 2015, something like that. And then the whole deal kind of fell apart. But to go that far with someone, like they met up with these bankers, it was like this whole big deal. But the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, I really hope that kind of comes to light. But honestly, I don't really think it is. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, and even if stuff did come to light, does it really change anything? You know, I think that's another question to ask. But let's look up Ghislaine Maxwell. Because that is a very interesting lady. Like, one of the pictures that really was kind of shocking was with her and Elon Musk. You know, I'm sure you guys seen that. Like, everyone always harasses Elon Musk on Twitter with that photo. You know, and it's like, how did this lady get into all of these crazy parties and meet all these celebrities? And I don't know. I feel like that's such a good documentary, just so ripe for the making. I don't know why anyone doesn't do it, you know? Maybe I'll do a little thing. I don't know. And then it'll be bye-bye. You guys aren't going to see me anymore. Man. But we'll see what's going on with it. I mean, this whole thing could just be... Yep, redacted information. So there's a there was a address book that had basically all of the celebrity... It was basically anyone that came on the island. I think it was... They had the flight list. So that was all of the flights coming into Jeffrey Epstein's island. And then there was another book that was like the contact book that it was one of the butlers for Jeffrey Epstein had. So it had like, that was the book that had like Prince Charles and, you know, Bill Gates and like I mean, it literally was like hundreds of pages of like all of these like dignitaries and politicians. And then the other one, the flight list, that actually had confirmed dates of Bill Gates flying into the island. It was like flying into Little St. James, which was Jeffrey Epstein's island. And then it had like Bill Gates was a passenger on board. Like that stuff's a trip to see. Because it's like, here's the other thing. Bill Gates is a billionaire. He's got his own plane. Like, why would a man that's worth that much need to fly on another billionaire's plane? You know? That just doesn't make any sense. Unless he's got something that you don't have, you know? Let me find that black book. Because when I saw that really like... Wow. It was such a trip. And then also a lot of this stuff, it's really hard to find on Google. Like sometimes I'll have to go to like Bing. What was it? Contact list. Oh, this was another crazy story. This reporter went through that list. So it was like this black book. And the whole reason this thing even came available was one of the butlers in 2006 when everything was coming to light with this first court case. He took this, the contact list, and then he basically took it and then went to the prosecutors and was like, oh, this is what we have as like evidence, you know? Like he knew what was going on the island was like pretty fucked up. So he took this book and then somehow the courts weren't going to release it or something. So then the guy leaked it on his own. So that was like a whole other big thing because that confirmed a lot of the, you know, the rumors and stuff like that. So this reporter went through and called every number on that black book. So there was over 2,000 numbers on this thing. Too many people have hidden connections. Wait, too many people have connections to Jeff for a decent documentary. Anyone who made one would be whacked. That's what I'm saying. Maybe someone already made one and they've already been whacked and we just don't even know about it. That's an entirely real possibility. You know it's hidden if you have to resort to Bing. There's a lot of stories I've done like that, where a lot of, because I mean that's a whole industry in itself on Google, is especially like really wealthy people. You can pay these companies and they'll basically clean up the search results for whatever term you want. So a lot of it's like with SEO, like search engine optimization. But if you're Bill Gates, you can pay a company to basically like, only put like positive articles in the front. Like, I mean, it's not like they're paying Google or anything. It's this whole process. But that's what a lot of like rich people do, is they'll pay to get that positive media hitting the top. So whenever you search for it, like a lot of the, like, here's an example, like for Jeff Bezos, I did a video about him. And anything that was embarrassing about the guy, like any embarrassing photos, like anything like that, it was not on Google. Like I couldn't find anything. So I had to go to Bing. And that was like a wealth of like, I was like, why aren't these things on Google? Like, what the hell's going on, But yeah, Bill, Wait, we're talking about Bill Clinton or Bill Gates? And why are they both named Bill? That's a little strange, I don't know if that's just me. So this guy went through and he called every single contact in Jeffrey Epstein's book, and he was trying to get, so the whole, which is this is a gnarly story, but this guy did. This book came out in like 2000. The contact book was from 2006, so I can imagine a lot of the numbers weren't even working. But I guess he did get in contact with a couple, like, I know he got in contact with like a couple politicians, and then they basically like got on the phone with him. He like brought up like why he was calling them, and they were just like, like we never met up with them that much. It was like this one time thing. Like these people would just be like all sketched and hang up the call. But have you guys seen the whole thing with, what's that guy, the physicist, the one that passed away recently? Who's that really smart dude? Stephen Hawking. So have you guys seen the photos of Stephen Hawking at Jeffrey Epstein's island? And like, that is so weird. Here, I'll show you right here. Jeffrey Epstein, Stephen Hawking. Jeff Bezos eating the iguana. That's a weird. And the way he's looking into the camera and the way the lighting is, it just looks super creepy. I'm just gonna put it out. Like, so there's this photo right here. So you got Stephen Hawking pictured on Jeffrey Epstein's select slave. Okay. So you got Stephen Hawking going to this island. What did he have to do with any of that? And, Jeffrey Epstein. So Epstein was a big man of the science. He was like a big, patron of the sciences. And he was always going, he went out to like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and he was basically negotiating a lot of these like research grants for like AI technology, computers, just all of this like crazy, like futuristic stuff. So he had his hand in a lot of weird things that were like on the cutting edge of, like science. Like, and that's just even something a little more weird. Like, he was basically brokering these deals between these like super uber rich billionaires to donate their money to like MIT, and then he was the guy like middlemaning it. So he knew everyone. Like, he basically had he had like a super great credibility within the science community, which is like, you have Stephen Hawking going to the island, like Steve Irwin. Maybe he did go there. I don't know. But you know what? Steve Irwin is a guy that people don't talk about anymore, and I feel like they should, because that guy was amazing, honestly. He died doing what he loved, Man, I remember when that dude died, it was like, to me, it was like when Kobe died. It was like a big thing. Everyone was... Any connection to Robert Maxwell's academic publishing empire? Let's look into that right now. Robert Maxwell's academic publishing, Jeffrey Epstein. So why do you say there's a connection? Oh, like Ghislaine Maxwell? Wait, The Mysterious Life and Death of Robert Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Wait, so is that a publishing company that he started? Dude, that's even... No. No way. Robert Maxwell Publishing. Is that Ghislaine? Ghislaine Maxwell. the biggest scandal. So was he Jeff or Ghislaine Maxwell's father? Please tell me Kobe didn't go there. No, Kobe didn't go there. We're gonna go through that list because it's a trip. Man, can't believe it's already been like a year and a half since Kobe's been gone. Okay, so what's up with the publishing? This is like a big... Yeah, I mean, then that's just another connection with the whole, like, science community. Like, he just had all of these, like, weird connections within everything. Like, one of the weirdest things was the guy that owned he owns Victoria's Secret or something like that. The guy's, like, some uber billionaire, man. So he was the one that gave him... He, like, basically, like, gave Jeffrey Epstein this, like, this New York mansion apartment thing that's worth, like, $40 million. Like, just absolutely nuts. And he just gave it to him. That was like, he gave it to him, and then that's like those pictures you see of him going in and out of like Manhattan. But what I thought was weird is I looked a lot into like how did Jeffrey Epstein like come up into the world? So he never went to college. Like he was, he went for like 2 years or something like that, and then he dropped out. What I thought was a trip was, so he lived in New York City, Manhattan. He went to college there, decently smart. He like studied mathematics. And then after 2 years, he dropped out and then became like a substitute teacher working at like one of the, super elite private schools within New York City. So when he was working there, one of his students was the son of like some CEO at like, I think it was like Chase Manhattan or like Bear Stearns, like some crazy financing thing like that. And then he became really good friends. Like he became good friends, helped him out after school with, the CEO's son. And then he started going over to his house. He started giving him like private tutoring lessons. And then he became in such goodwill with the family that the dad ended up like picking him off and hiring him to basically work in finance at like, I think it was Bear Stearns. And he had no college degree. He was working in finance. He was literally this kid's like math teacher. He was like this kid's math substitute teacher. And then he just, I don't know if it was on purpose that he like picked his way through, trying to find that student to like work his way up. And this is all like in the 70s too, which is a trip. I mean, the guy just really had, it's crazy how you can't do stuff like that now, but stuff like that back then, like there's no way you can get a job in finance with no degree. But it was Bear Stearns? Okay, yeah, Bear Stearns. So maybe that's why they failed, because of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know. But I know, and then from there, he was doing all these, not a lot is really known about that time of him at Bear Stearns. It was just this very, made a lot of money, made a lot of connections, and, for him not having a degree, obviously it's not like he was the guy doing the deals, I imagine, if you don't, the guy was literally a substitute mathematics teacher that somehow got into Bear Stearns financing. Makes no sense. Total trip. But then you look, yeah, so Jeffrey Epstein, the amount of money he donated, foundations, science foundations. Have you guys heard about Eric Weinstein? What is it? It's like Eric and then Brett Weinstein. They've been on the Joe Rogan show. They're always talking about like their theory of everything. It's like this big grand thing. So, I don't know, if you guys don't know about him, wait, the Netflix documentary on Epstein said that he was flirting with a Bear Stearns exec's daughter and nearly got fired for it. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly it. Yeah, like he just worked his way into these things. He was just, I guess he was like this master networker, But yeah, he got in the Bear Stearns. The dude was a substitute teacher, Makes you kind of like think about like, man, I wish I could go back to the 70s, where you could just get some crazy job with no college degree. Like, pretty nuts. Okay, yeah, so you look right here. So the Jeffrey Epstein Foundation, they had this whole thing set up that they worked with like all of these institutions, like science and, all this big stuff. So the reason I bring up like that Eric Weinstein, so it was like this, I think he's like a biology PhD dude, super smart dude. He has this big theory. And then his big claim to fame is he has this theory, it's like this physics theory they call it the theory of everything, and I think it's like between quantum mechanics and I don't know physics, but he has this crazy idea. And he said that Jeffrey Epstein was, when he came out with this idea that was supposed to be this revolutionary thing, that Jeffrey Epstein somehow got in contact with him, and he was one of the few people that actually knew about his idea. I don't know how true that story is, but that's a lot of who he was. He was this dude that was so fascinated with science, and he put in like all of this money. So I don't know if he was like trying to like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. You see with a lot of billionaires, they put so much trust into like technology, into saving everything, Like you see with Bill Gates, like every problem can be solved by technology. And I'm sure there's a lot, but I don't know. So we got this right here. So he was like donating to like all these causes, but I know I'm like all scatterbrained right now, but let me go back to the Bill Gates. It was the Bill Gates Jeffrey Epstein Foundation they were going to start, because that is a trip. Let me get the music going. We need some like mystery beats, We're looking through this mystery. You and me, we're going down the wormhole right now. Okay, yeah, so he met with Jeffrey Epstein. It was like multiple times, this whole thing. There's one confirmed photo, so that's it right there. That was in 2011. And just like, I know I said this before, but what blows my mind is that Jeffrey Epstein was a confirmed sex predator. Like, he literally was a sex offender on the registry and everything. Like, everywhere he lived, he had to file that little thing saying he was a sex offender. And Bill Gates was going to do this whole foundation with him and had no idea that the dude was a sex offender. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I just, maybe Bill Gates, I don't know. I just feel like if you're at that level, you got that much money, you're gonna do research on the people you do business with, So Bill Gates, $100 million fortune, foundation. So then that was the other thing, is that the people that came out talking a lot about this relationship came from the Bill Gates side of it, so from the foundation. So it was like one of Bill Gates' like assistants at the foundation. She was the one that came forward and was like, Jeffrey Epstein came here like multiple times. They talked about this. I was there in the room when they were like negotiating this deal. And then, everything just kind of fell apart. But yeah, it's just kind of a trip. This is like the foundation officer lady that like came out about all this stuff, and and I think the crazier thing is like, this came out a couple months ago, and the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing was like 2-3 years ago. So it's like, I can't even imagine what else is going to come out in the next like 5 years, Because Bill Gates, it's like, when it rains, it pours. He had his fall with his whole divorce, and then it's like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff comes out, and then the stuff how he's like cheating on his wife, and, it all just kind of comes forward. So it's like, who's the next billionaire that's going to have their, fall with Jeffrey Epstein? My prediction is Prince Charles. Because that guy has got a lot of... Man, that guy's got like some real like sketchy stuff going on with the Epstein. Like the confirmed photos. Like one of the girls that was like in the court case, saying that Jeffrey Epstein, probably most of them guests on the island, knew and either looked the other way or participated too. Would this have come out without the divorce? Maybe it would have. I don't think so. It's just more of... Because you got to look at it like this. Like, before Bill Gates had his divorce, he was looked at as like, oh, he's... there's a lot of goodwill and like the public about him. The vaccines and, he's saving everyone. And that's, that's cool and everything. But the divorce is kind of like that little like... It just shows like, okay, as perfect as he portrays himself to be, like, he's got this... other thing going on, and then that's just kind of like it just gets the wheel turning, and there's just more stuff that comes out. Because if she was to come out about this Jeffrey Epstein thing back when everything first came out, or Andrew, it was Andrew. Okay, yeah, I'm not into the English royalty. My girlfriend's parents are super English, so they're all about that. Like, it's crazy. I didn't realize how much of a phenomenon that is with like the royal family, like, and everything about the history and what's going on and the weddings. And I wouldn't know. I'm just the Spanish guy. So, I don't know. But yeah, the good billionaire. You know, so when the good billionaire, when that whole kind of facade starts falling apart, and then people can come out with stuff like this, and then I think it's a little more believable at that time. You know? It's kind of like with, same thing with Jeff. I mean, I don't know if the cheating thing was really confirmed with Bill Gates. But I did one video about Jeff Bezos and how his whole cheating scandal came to light. And oh boy, let me just say, that was a trippy story. It's crazy how you could be on top of the world. You could be a fucking billionaire, and you could still just like have your whole like public life, your private life, just like completely fall apart. I mean, there were court docs that were made public showing Gates' wife disapproval with him spending time with Epstein. Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. So then, yeah, the divorce coming out had. I'm not too, yeah, but the divorce coming out, you have all these documents, you know, that are coming forward about, you know, him with Epstein and this whole, you know, type thing. But this is something that's just, it's so weird. So this guy right here, this Mr. Nikolic, so he was the dude that they were going to partner up with. So Mr. Nikolic, this guy right here, was, that was Jeffrey Epstein's friend, and he introduced him to Bill Gates, and they were going to start this foundation together, and, you know, save the world in this whole thing. Okay, yeah, so it says Mr. Gates saw Mr. Epstein again at a TED conference. So a TED conference, like, I mean, you guys have seen the videos, like we all have. Okay, I looked into how much it is to go to one. So there's TEDx events, and then there's TED events. So TEDx is like a local thing that not anyone can speak, but, you know, you can speak, and, you know, it's not like this rigorous process to be like screened. But for TED Talks, that's like a legit thing. Like, you know, they have like authors and PhDs, and like it's just this whole crazy thing. So just to go to a TED event, just to watch it, not even speak at it, it's like thousands of dollars for a ticket. Absolutely nuts. Like, you have to be loaded to go to one of those events. Like, I didn't realize how a TED conference was like this whole, like, not a secret cabal, but it's just this like elite, you know, it's a super elite thing. I thought it was open to a lot of different people. But yeah, so they were going to have, it was going to be called the Global Health Investment Fund. And then this foundation was going to get other people's money, like other companies' money. So it wasn't even like for, you know, oh, we're going to go to Warren Buffett and get money. It was a foundation set up for other companies to put in their money. Like, it just seems like this whole sketchy thing that just never really ends, and we're just never going to find the answer. But can you imagine? So right here, if Mr. Epstein had raised $10 billion, for example, that would amount into $30 million in fees. So Epstein worked out a deal where he was like, he told Bill Gates, he's like, okay, if I'm raising money for this foundation, I'm going to take like a percentage. So they agreed on 0.3% on whatever he raised, which is, you know, it's kind of weird. You know, is that how Epstein made his money? With, maybe that's one little scheme that he had, you know? But yeah, okay, right here. Wait, Mr. Gates donated $2 million to the foundation lab, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, just give me 1 minute. What's good? You guys like boba? I absolutely love boba. Taro milk tea? That shit's fire. All day long. Yeah, bro, the video you made about that was a trip. Oh, the Jeff Bezos things? Okay, so that whole thing was absolutely nuts. So he was, okay, so he was, there was like rumors of him, you know, cheating on his wife. You know, the wife, Mackenzie Bezos, for like all these years. And then somehow the National Enquirer got wind that he was kind of like cheating on his wife. So he was basically like, him and his wife would fly out to go see their son at like Stanford or MIT, some crazy university. They would go fly out to see him. And then Jeff Bezos would fly out his mistress as well. And then get like another hotel room. So then he would tell his wife like, oh, I'm going to go to a meeting or whatever. And then he'd really just go in the hotel room, have sex with this, she's like a news reporter, this lady. And then he would come back, and then, but his like wife was there, like his wife would be like in the hotel room, like down the thing. So the National Enquirer got wind of this whole story, and then they did a 6-month investigation of Jeff Bezos. They followed him like all over the country, all over the world. I think they had like 3 investigators that were just taking photos of him, and they got all of these photos of him like taking these like secret dates with her name was Lauren Sanchez. She's like this like Latina like news reporter. So they got like these photos of like her at dinner with Jeff Bezos, like they were going on these so she's like a helicopter pilot. Then there's like, you know, photos of him like going on the helicopter with her. They were flying out to Aspen, like all this kind of stuff. So then they went to Jeff Bezos the week before this article was going to come out, and they told him like, hey, we got evidence of you cheating on your wife for the last 6 months, and it's bad. Like, we got photos, we have documents, like we have this whole thing. Like, did you want to make a statement about it? And then this is where I bet she knew and she didn't care, only divorced him because of all the media. Yeah, I mean, it was just embarrassing. So they basically sent all of the stuff to Jeff Bezos, and they're like, we're gonna release this stuff. So Jeff Bezos took it is that he was getting extorted. Like, even though the National Enquirer never said, we're gonna release this if you don't pay us $5,000, they never said that. But Bezos took it is that they're trying to extort me for this whole situation. So then he went on Medium, like some blogging website, and then he put up this like whole blog about how like there's photos that have come out about me about cheating on my wife. Like, me and my wife are separated for, you know, we are now separated and we're in the process of getting divorced and blah, blah, blah. And it's like this whole thing. So he like caught everything coming, and then he like put out that newsletter right like before all of these photos could even come out. And then the whole scandal really kind of like, I don't know if you remember that thing came out for a day. It was all over the news, and then no one ever talked about it. Like, I mean, that's the biggest divorce in history, you know? Okay, never tried it before, but boba milk tea. Dude, it is 10 out of 10. You gotta get the taro with the oh man. The taro thing, like, I don't even know what taro is. I guess it's like a root or something like that. I don't know if you guys know. But I bet you knew and didn't care. I mean, it's the largest divorce in history. I mean, that's absolutely nuts, you know? Okay, yeah, so then the Saudi hack came out as well. Oh, that's like a whole other thing. Yeah, that's... The Saudi hack is a trip. There's like this secret spyware that's like developed in Israel, and then they like sent... Basically, it was like the Prince of Saudi Arabia sent Jeff Bezos like a WhatsApp message, and then on the message it had a video that Jeff Bezos opened up. So he opened up the video, and the video had a link on it. So he clicked the link, and then of course, like the minute you click the link, you're like totally donezo. So then it installed this like spyware thing. It's like this crazy, you know, whatever Israeli developed spyware. And then they took like videos and photos from like Jeff Bezos' phone. But the one thing that was weird about that was, you know, that Jamal Khashoggi, that Washington Post reporter that was killed, I think? It was all over the news. It was like this big thing about that Khashoggi thing. So what about that was, it was rumored that Saudi Arabia basically like planted this thing on Jeff Bezos' phone, and they were trying to find dirt. And I guess they found like a couple photos of him with this Lauren Sanchez, the girl he was cheating on his wife with. And then, I don't know if they sent it to him or something like that, but it was basically found out that the Saudi government hacked into Jeff Bezos' phone trying to get blackmail, because the whole Jamal Khashoggi, who was like he was like some reporter, and then Saudi Arabia and like the Saudi Arabian prince like killed him. That's a gnarly story that it's like a lot of stuff in the Middle East. Like, it's so interesting. Like, it really is so fast. Like, I want to understand the whole thing, but there's like so much history behind it. You know, it really is, like, you've been watching all these Afghanistan documentaries, like, dude, there's this one on Vice that absolutely blew my mind. Someone told me, they're like, if you wanna see why Afghanistan just gave up everything, like the minute the Taliban came here, watch this documentary. And it came out 8 years ago, and it is like as relevant as ever. What is it called? This is why we're winning the war. Is that the guy who went into the embassy and never came out? It was this documentary that was made 8 years ago, and it was Vice did this like whole investigative report, and they were going into like how they were trained. So basically, like they were talking about the military's role, and trying to like the military's role was obviously to like get rid of the Taliban, but more importantly, it was like to train the police, train the military, so they could defend themselves and become an independent country. Dissident? Yeah, I'm gonna wrote that down. So this whole movie, they go into talking about how, man, what was I saying? But they were just talking about how, like, so they were showing these military people, like, training these Afghani officers, and they were showing, like, how they were, like, taking, like, there's a lot of, like, 95% of the world's heroin's, like, the poppy is, like, grown in Afghanistan. So, like, half of these police officers were just, like, stoned on heroin, and they were, like, nodding out. And then half of them were like they were smoking weed and they were drinking on the job. And it was just so disturbing. Like they got into this other thing of like the police departments and how there's like these little Afghani boys that will come around and they're homeless and they need shelter. And these police departments will take them in as shelter. And then they'll have them in. Basically these kids get abused by the police department. And there's like all of these cases like talking about it. Like they basically trap these kids in, like they don't have anywhere to go. They come into the police department, they take care of them, and then they use them for like slave labor, and they like sexually abuse them and stuff like that. They were like going over how like some of the kids were like trying to poison the officers, like trying to escape. And it was just like this whole like shit show of a scenario, and it just, after watching that, it really changed my mind on the whole situation. Like, and what was nutty about it is that was 8 years ago. Here, Why We Lost the War. It's free on YouTube, and it's like a full-on, like a legit Why We Lost. Is it Why We Lost the War? No. This is what winning looks like. Man, Vice is really like. Sometimes they put out like some really banger stuff. Like I absolutely love it, and then sometimes it's just like. It's almost a meme. Some of the stuff they put out. This is what winning looks like. Okay, this was such a good movie. It really, like, oh my god. Welcome to our world. Vice went woke, and then it went to trash. See, you know what? It did go woke, and there is a lot of trash. But at the same time, sometimes there's really interesting stuff. Like, they had this one they did about, like, the whole, it's like that whole thing in Ireland. Like the Ireland with like the IRA, and they're like trying to fend off like the British, and that, I was in the middle of watching it, but I don't know. Sometimes they do good stuff like that, and then there's like those memes of the one where, I don't know if you saw that one where they have a dartboard. I think it's that comedian Ryan Long. He did like this whole like meme about it. But this movie, man, if you want to see why what happened, like how did they fall so fast? This movie completely breaks it down. Like, they literally could have made this yesterday, and I would have been like, okay, cool. Like, that's exactly what would happen. Like, nothing changed within 10 years. What was so sad was about these boys. And then it was like the heads of the police were, like, openly saying they were like, if they're not going to spread their butt cheeks for us, like, or, like, they were talking about, like, why the officers are, like, molesting them. And they're like, well, they come in here, and we give them a place to stay, and they open up their cheeks to us, like, and it was just, like, so disturbing. And these like military officers just have to sit there and like there's nothing they could really do about it, Gotta wade through the trash to find the treasure. But hey, isn't that like anything? Really? Like, it's a lot of stuff like that. That's like YouTube, it's a lot of trash on YouTube, but at the same time, you find that nice piece of gold. Oh, it is, that feeling. You find that great YouTube video and then you send it out to all your friends. And then you're just like sitting there like waiting for that response, like, oh dude, that was amazing. And somehow you feel good about it, I don't know if that's you, but that's me at least. I like that feeling. Okay, so let's get back to the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Okay, so let's go over that, okay, oh, right here. Okay, so this is the actual black book that's from the court document. You want to know how it's even more legit? Is that it's not like a news article putting out this thing. It's literally like says documentcloud.org. Like that's how you know you're getting like the real source on this thing. I'm not getting some like You know, you get like those little like shitty news stories, and they're like, oh, this happened, this guy was on there. No, I want the full thing. I want the evidence. Yes. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So this thing is like pages long. I mean, there's so many names in here. And a lot of the stuff is redacted. I guess, I don't know how that reporter got a hold of a lot of it. Primary sources, baby. That's what we're talking about. We love that stuff. You guys are the treasure. That's the treasure in all this. But if you guys go down this document, I mean, dude, I was looking in here for, like, I would say like a good, like 20 minutes. I was just like, bam, like who? And I know I saw like the Prince Charles, like, I mean, it's just so weird. And there's like a lot of like big actors. So when this thing came out, like right here, like Duchess of York, Duke of York, you know, just like really weird stuff. So a lot of these names, when this stuff came out, they went to these people like whose names were in the black book, and they were like, do you have anything to say? Like, why are you in here? Like, did you meet up with them? And then they just gave this whole thing like, oh, well, Jeffrey took my name and number from a business card. That's why. No other reason why he had it in his personal black book that lived on the island that the butler thought was good enough as evidence to rescue all these girls, you know? Just a business card. That was it. Did you go down here? I mean, there's just like some really freaky... Okay, Steve Forbes, the guy that owns Forbes magazine. Dude's like a billionaire, super, super rich. Like, that dude probably knows a ton of people. They got Steve Forbes. Tom Ford. You have Tom Ford, that guy. You know, spraying on that Tom Ford. There's like just like some just really weird names. So there's this one, and then the flight list, that one's kind of a trip. Because it's just weird seeing like Jeffrey Epstein, and then it's like Bill Gates, and it's like on this like flight document. Like, damn, you know. Now, I don't even think Bill Clinton. It's like Bill Clinton, and then it's like Bill Gates are on this like flight document, you know. And there's a lot of weird stuff about Bill Gates or Bill Clinton. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the paintings that they had inside of the house. Like, there's the one of Bill Clinton like dressed up in a dress. It's like a blue dress, and then it's somehow like Bill Clinton's face like on this lady. Super weird. It is super, super creepy. But yeah, I mean, you look in this thing, there's just like all these like dignitaries. Like, if you look up any of these people, like you just take a random name and type it in, they're like some big, whether some big business person or politician. Like the Kennedys right here. They have like all the Kennedys. I mean, it is just weird. What is it? Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein painting. You guys haven't seen this? Oh, you are in for something today. So this was in the house. Like, why? Why is that painting there? Like, look at that. Like, what's wrong? Like, it's one thing if... it's just weird. Like, you're getting a painting of, like, the dude that was the ex-president, and then you're, like, painting them on a woman's body. And then it's one thing to, like, have it painted as a joke, and then it's another thing to, like, have that hanging in your house, you know? Like, what do people say when they come over? You know, like, what? I don't... That was weird. There's, like, a whole thing. Okay, the artist who painted... So then that was the other one. So there was this painting right here. It was George Bush. This one was super creepy. So this was another portrait that he had in his house. It was George W. Bush. And then if you look on the ground, okay, this is a better shot of it. But you got the two Jenga towers, and then you got, the paper airplane. And then he's sitting on the ground like a kid, you know? Like, why would you get that? You know? Like, I don't know. It's just so weird, you know? Is that, like, that alluding to something? I mean, I'm not going to say, like, 9/11 truth, you know? Like, what, you know? What do they say? They say, like, jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Like, I don't know what they say, but... It's just so weird. Like, why would you commission that painting? Oh, can you sit there and draw George Bush sitting on the ground with two Jenga things holding a paper airplane? And, oh, can you do Bill Clinton dressed up as a lady? Having her sitting in a chair? Yeah, let's do that. But then there was like, I think some of these paintings that were here, but there was like some other weird ones. There was a bunch of weird. I think one of the painters that did some of the Jeffrey Epstein paintings. Oh, I'm covering the pic. So I think there was my face right there. I'm not that important, so it's all good. So don't quote me on this, but I think one of the paintings that was in Jeffrey Epstein's house, the same painter, those paintings were at, remember that Comet ping pong pizza? I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like that, what did they say? What was that whole thing? It was like that big scandal. Okay, so this was another painting that was in his house. It was all these little girls dressed up and they're on stage. Like, why? Like, why would you get this kind of stuff? Like, the stuff is disturbing. Like, how does, like, the nanny or, like, the butler see this and is like, oh, that's a totally normal thing for, like, a 60-year-old financier to totally own in his house? Like, the painting of, like, all these girls, just, like, sitting there. Just so weird. Everything was so weird about that guy. The paintings, his house, like... And there's just so many questions, like, not answered. Like, why the temple? Why these paintings, And no one's told me, And I think that makes it worse, because then people just start coming up with all these crazy conspiracy theories. Pizzagate, that was it. So don't quote me on this, but I think some of the paintings that were in the Comet ping pong pizza, they were the same ones. They were done by the same artist. And those paintings are weird. Those are weird. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. I go to Google, and, like, none of the paintings pop up, so now I gotta go to Bing. Because Bill Gates got my back, Bill Gates. Comet ping pong paintings. And then if worst comes to worst, I go to DuckDuckGo. Was it the paintings, or I think it was the I think it was like some of the paintings they had, and they were like these like little girls that were like sucking on like a pizza thing. Okay, so this is like, again, exactly like. So this was like some of the stuff on there. This is like totally different from Jeffrey Epstein. Kind of, maybe they're connected. Like, I don't really know. I'm not like a huge conspiracy theorist. Like. But it's like, why would you have, a picture like that on your Instagram for the Comet? So this was the guy that owned Comet Ping Pong, but we're getting off topic over here. I thought the paintings were the same thing there, but I guess they're not. Jeffrey Epstein Island. So I guess the government right now is in this huge thing, and they're basically trying to take back the island. Where was it? There's like this huge lawsuit. So he bought the island for $7.95 million in 1998, and then they say today the thing's worth like $80 million. Like, they say real estate's a good investment, but I think it's all about an island. Island is a good investment. Like Mr. Beast, he bought that island. You guys want to hear a funny story about Mr. Beast? So, when I first saw that video of him buying the island, I was so skeptical of it. I'm like, there's no way that Mr. Beast bought this giant island and was like going to give it away to like one of his workers. Like, I just didn't believe it. So then I start looking into it. Like, how do you buy an island? So then I start calling. So it was in the Bahamas. So I start calling these like the Bahamian, like real like property records. Like, it was like I send them emails. I called them. I did all the stuff. And I was trying to see like the title of the island, and like, I don't know exactly what it's called, but like seeing like where it's transferred from. So I called in, I like waited weeks, I got back, and then actually found the realtor that was selling. There was like a couple people that were selling the island, and they still had the island for sale online. And that was after the video was made, So I was weirded out. I was like, they still have it for sale, and Mr. B said he bought it. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, So then I talked to the guy, the realtor, and so he was saying that they did purchase the island, But what they do is they have this like special agreement thing. So he said that a lot of like game shows will do this. So, you watch a game show and like, oh, we're going to give you like, oh, if you win this prize, you're going to win a car, you're going to win like a new house or whatever it may be. Like they'll say like, you can win this house or you can win cash prize. So they don't actually like purchase the property. What they do is they have this like thing. It's like this, I don't know if it's like a faux deed or something like that. And then they give it to the person who's ever like giving out the prize. And then so if the person wants to take the house, they can like sign that thing on the spot and then that house becomes theirs. But let's say they want the cash prize and they don't sign it. And then the property is still like not, it's like still up for sale. It's not owned by them. So it's like the special agreement that like game shows do. And then Mr. Beast had that set up. Wait, give me a minute. The camera's gonna die. Gonna die. Bueno. Okay, there we go. How's the first stream? Are we doing all good? How is this going? Because I'm like, see, I don't have a lot of confidence right now. I'm like, good. Like, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm having fun. Okay, so the island. The government's trying to take it back. No one knows what's going on. Why does the government want it? Who's there right now? Who's taking care of it? These are some big, pressing questions that a lot of us have. So let's take a look into it. We're having a great time. We're drinking boba. We're chilling out. I hope you guys got something to drink. We're just chilling right now. It's Friday night. Got nothing. Okay, so Jeffrey Epstein Island court case. Deposition case over Jeffrey Epstein's Island. Dude, I could have sworn. Oh, is this the actual case right here? This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about. So they're basically trying to like take back the island. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not. Judge releases a trove of sealed documents. I could have sworn I saw that somewhere. Jeffrey Epstein Island. Government. Okay, so there's subpoena.
Reporting tonight about Jeffrey.
So this is the stuff that like really like. I think this is why a lot of leeway hasn't gotten on the case, because it's like no one knows anything about the financial records because it's all this stuff, hidden offshores and all these crazy governments and these secret bank accounts, and it's like that's the kind of stuff where like, you know what, it's gonna take a while to find out. But I think with more of this stuff coming out, okay, so they're trying to do a civil asset forfeiture, which don't get me started on that. I think that's kind of like a whole sketchy thing. But they're trying to get back the island. But can you imagine, like, what are they gonna do with the island? Like, are they going to turn it into, like, a theme park or something? Like, I don't know, Like, what would you do with, like, it's not like, you see those houses from, like, those criminals where, like, they commit all these crazy crimes, and then the government will be like, we're just going to, like, tear down the house and then put, like, a park or something. But when you have, like, a full-on island, like, you can't just, like, blow that up, like, maybe, like, another billion, I don't know. Because then there's just, like, what went down on that island is just so weird. And just like that whole Jeffrey Epstein Temple Island. See, this thing is so weird. The temple thing. But what trips me out is it has this gold thing on the top. And there was some kind of storm that came through. And the gold top disappeared. They don't know where it went. Like, how do you lose a all gold top on the top of the temple? I don't know. Dude, I can't. God. Don't you hate it? Honestly, like, I don't know what it is. It's like recently, any news article like go on, I just get like bombarded with ads. And it is so annoying. It honestly makes the internet like almost unusable. Like, I don't know. I'm using like ad block and all that kind of stuff. And it is still like. But why the info about this case is taking too much to be released? A lot of it, I think, is because he died. you know, because he killed himself, there's like no reason to like, okay, the Hunter Biden thing, oh boy, his artwork's actually, it's not bad, but it's not like super amazing. But I thought it would be a lot worse. I was like, you know, seeing the art, I was like, okay, you know, it's kind of decent. But I don't know if you guys have seen the video I did on Hunter Biden, but I'm gonna be making a part 2, maybe like in a month or like a month or so, because there was so much more to add on to that guy's life. I mean, just so much stuff. Was like it just blows me away that someone like that can just get away, you know, with everything. You know, and it makes you think. It's like, imagine if that guy actually like had his act together and like really tried. Like, he could have probably been like, you know, some dignitary and, you know, maybe running for president, something. Like, he could have been a senator, you know, but he just had to just throw away his life. He had every opportunity, you know. Really sad. I somewhat kind of feel bad for Hunter Biden, and then at the same time I don't. Like, I'm not saying oh, you know, what a poor boy, but, you know, I know. Yeah, the Biden thing is like, that's a crazy thing. Like, he's super old. He's too old. Like, even like, but you know what? You got to give Biden credit, because if you watch videos from back in the day, okay, this is why I feel bad for him. Because you don't choose what family you're born into. And when you grow up in a family where your entire life is politics and your dad's a big politician, you're doing all this crazy stuff, like, that's gonna do a number on you, you know? Like, and it was him and his brother, so his brother was like the super successful, and like he was like an attorney general, he was like in the military, you know, super high ranking officer. And Hunter was always just like this, he just like couldn't get his act together, you know? And maybe it was because he felt like he wasn't, you know, like he wasn't doing as well as his brother. And, you know, something like that, you just really feel like you're a fuck up and you're not going to get anywhere. And, you know, he turned to like drugs and alcohol. But I'm not saying I feel like I'm not saying I feel like terrible for him, but I can be like sympathetic a little bit to it, you know? But at the same time, the dude's had every opportunity to like make it right, you know? He's been to rehab 7 times, you know? He has like a kid with like I'm wrong? Yeah, no, the millions from the Ukraine. I'm not saying that stuff's right. That stuff is like screwed up. Don't get me wrong. Like, that was all on daddy's dime. He got him this like cushy job. And that was after, because he dropped out of, or he got discharged from the military for the cocaine showing up in his pee test. So then daddy got him a job working in the Ukraine, like, you know, making $86,000 a month. I can understand that everything he does will be questioned whether it was because of his dad. Yes, you know, stuff like that. Like, there's even that interview that went up where they were like, you know, why didn't you tell him that, you know, your dad was the president, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he's like, well, it's kind of implied. Like, I guess it's just more of like everything you do is always going to relate back to your dad, you know? That'd be annoying. It'd kind of be like the same thing as your dad, your family being like a celebrity, you know? Like, for as awesome that would be, it would suck at the same time. Like, you see that, with the Jada Smith, or who's the one that's dating Tyler, the Creator? That guy. The dude, you know, with him, like, it's just problems, you know? It's just real problems. These NPCs haven't seen what's on the laptop. Oh, the laptop is... Oh, it's nuts. I was gonna show photos in the video, but I heard from a lot of people that even if you put up the images that are blurred and censored, the video, like, is just, like, no-go. They're just not even having it. Like, not even demonetized, like, they just... That's what I heard, and I didn't want to try it out. But, yeah, I mean, there's like hundreds of photos. I mean, and it's like all these different like women, and they're all naked. It's like doing drugs. I even found like videos of him with like crack, like a meth or not. I don't know. It's something like a needle, and he's like holding it up and he's like flicking it. And then there's a lady that looks like Lady Gaga in the back. Like, I mean, it's just some gnarly stuff. And they have all of that stuff leaked. And I think the weirdest thing was that when I was trying to find a lot of those images, I had to go to like this, it was like this Chinese website. Like, the whole website was in Chinese. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna see it on YouTube. I had to go to this like Chinese. I got it from like 4chan, this link, and it was this Chinese website, and then they had all of the photos of Hunter Biden from the laptop. It was like all of them, and they had to like watermark to like this Chinese. It was like some like Chinese news information thing. It was so weird, but yeah, that whole thing with the laptop is like, yeah. And I guess there's more stuff that's coming out about that. I don't know if you guys heard about that. There was another laptop that came out. Like, dude, based events. We got Oki in here. What's going on, man? Kiwi Farms, bro. I'm not that depraved, Or what do they call it? Does it look like I would go to Kiwi Farms? Is that what you're trying to imply right now, man? I'm just kidding. Dude, Kiwi Farms is a trip. I never went on it until like the last like couple months, and it's like a lot of. You want to come on, Oki? Oki? We'll see if Oki wants to come on. If you guys want some good conspiracies, oh, dude, this is the guy. This is the guy right here, talking in the chat. So yeah, there's a third laptop. Wait, there's more than a third laptop. I'm like, no, I saw more than I wanted on the first thing they showed. I couldn't take it, man. I just stopped looking into him. What is the point? I'll get in trouble. That's the other I honestly felt like something was gonna happen to me because I was looking at these photos. Like, I mean, it was literally like a full-on Chinese website. I had to translate it to English. Like that's how like foreign this website was. It was not just like, oh, it's Chinese state media in English. No, it was like Chinese everywhere. Like I couldn't even like they had the videos that were on there, and it was some like Chinese news player, video player, which was so weird. Like I couldn't even like read the video like where the play button was. I just had to like guess. Like that's how crazy that thing was. We had the third one, but Hunter's trying to get his life together, He's got the paintings he's trying to sell. No one's going to be knowing the price of them. And, he married that new lady that he met. He basically met this chick that's like she's like some documentarian. Hunter signed a waiver at the Mac shop, so if he didn't, yeah, exactly. So the Chinese website, it was basically a dump. I mean, like the photos were like legit, and that's the other thing is that it wasn't like Hunter Biden came out and said these photos aren't real. You would think if they weren't real, like he would say that, like they didn't say anything, and maybe some of them aren't real, but I mean they look legit. Like it was like from like they were like screenshots like from his phone, like on the Photos app, and it would have like the date and like the GPS stuff. Like yeah, the painting's like the money laundering thing, whatever. Maybe he just came out with a memoir that I bought, and we're gonna read it. We're gonna really see what the details are. But that's the other trippy thing. It's a lot of the stuff he's just said openly. Like, there's like interviews where he's like, oh, I was smoking crack and, out of this guy's pipe, and I was in a homeless encampment in LA and I needed some crack, and I just went into this guy's tent and purchased some crack. He was like telling the New Yorker that. Like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that when your dad's the president of the United States and you're talking about how you smoked crack in a homeless encampment? In a homeless encampment? Like, what? Yeah, the painting thing for sure is like a money. I feel like anything with like high-end art like that is just straight up money laundering. Like even with like Banksy. I mean, I don't know if you guys like Banksy stuff, but how do you say it? Banksy? Yeah, that guy's stuff that's a whole other trip. But yeah, back to Jeffrey Epstein. So this whole island, who lived there? Why would they live there? The other trippy thing is how were there all these servants and people that worked on the island? Joe refuses to acknowledge the kid as his grandchild. Good Catholic there. Okay, so we're gonna bring Oki on. It's gonna be a good time. Okay, let me see if this works.
Hello?
Yo, can you guys hear him?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Here, I'm seeing if the... Can you guys...
Can they hear me? Yeah, I'll tweet about it. Let's see if
it should be fine. Okay, cool. Dude, what is good?
I guess you're... Yeah, I'm good, man. I just saw you were streaming. It's like, Vince, what's up, dude? Yeah, no. For everybody watching, Vince is I'd say, yeah, we're good friends.
Yeah, we're good friends, man. We're good friends.
We've known each other for like how long now? Dude, it's been a while.
Almost a year, man.
Almost a year, yeah. Vince, he is part of our group of friends. Like, it's him, Glink, me, Slush, Technicals, Turkey Tom, Night Docs. There's a bunch of people, who talk in this one or two Discord groups by this point. And yeah, Vince.
We have like
Vince
a secret.
Always.
So when I first joined YouTube, I was like, I didn't know anyone. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I live in California. I live next to Disneyland. That's where I live.
Dude,
okay, so when I first got on YouTube, I didn't know anyone. I was like, I had 3 subscribers. It was like a sad life. And then Barely Sociable. I don't know if you guys have, he's huge. So then he hit me up. He liked the video. He put it up on his Twitter and stuff like that. And then from there, Kino saw that he retweeted it. So then Kino was like my first friend in YouTube, like the first guy that reached out and was like, "Hey man, blah, 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 like your stuff." And then he added me in this Discord thing and then this Twitter chat, and then he was the one that introduced me to everyone. So without Kino Corner, I wouldn't know you, man.
So I remember when Barely Sociable shared one of your videos. I forget. I think it was your first video or second. I don't remember which video it was, but I remember seeing around that point, and then yeah, you replied to my stuff a lot, and then
I was a reply guy.
I ended up. It's the best way to do it, though. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I assume it's because you probably watched my content and you liked my content, and I remember you were you liked my McAfee stuff or something.
Yeah.
Around that time, so I always thought it was genuine. So one day I just clicked on your profile and checked out your YouTube. I'm like, oh, he's a YouTuber. And then so I checked out your videos. I'm like, and I watched the Hunter Biden thing. I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking good. And so
it was such a But no, the McAfee thing and the gay frogs. I don't know if you guys have seen Oki's gay frogs video. No. Jacob Wool. That video's nuts. That one, dude. That was some serious work. The first video and the second one is just so well made, the way the first one just captures you and it just sucks you in, where you're showing everyone at the front, and Jacob Wool's oh, what was it? Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, with her and the dominatrix situation, the fake dominatrix smear.
Yeah,
and it's just just a circus. It's Oki's Weird Stories on YouTube. I'm gonna get my plug in here. If
I'm gonna put it in.
Anyone wants to check out my YouTube channel, but I see you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein's island.
So we're doing a mystery. We're doing a mystery dive. We're getting into it.
So I just because I came in I just saw you were streaming randomly, but you've been streaming for an hour. Can you give me a breakdown of what you've been talking about?
Okay, so here's what's going on. We'll catch everyone up as well. So we first looked into the island. So we got it right here. Okay, so first part that's weird of the mystery. So if you go on Google Earth, it'll tell you when the images were taken. So if we look, so let's look somewhere random, over here. Puerto Rico, or Puerto Diablo. Just give it a minute. Why isn't it showing? Okay, so basically on the satellite images, it'll tell you when they were taken. So for a lot, like satellites are going every single hour, they're running across the Earth, scanning everything. So you would think that photos would be like updated, like on a lot of these like satellite images, they'll say, oh, like the photo was. So we'll go to like Dominican Republic. So it'll say on the corner. I don't know if you guys can see it. Why isn't it saying? Okay, so wait. So basically, if you go to the Jeffrey Epstein's island, it says the last time a photo was taken of this whole thing was April. What is it, like April 20th or April 2019? Is it right here? So that's like the first weird thing, because there's a lot of stuff that's changed on the island. Like they took away like the gold temple dome, like fell off, like just a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, it blew away or something.
So the last time this photo was taken on April 19th, 2019. So there's got to be different stuff going on the island. Maybe they've taken down things, maybe they've updated it. So to just not take a photo of the island for over 2 years when there's satellites going every single hour, I find it hard to believe. Maybe there's something they're hiding. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think that they have underground bases there. And child sex trafficking rings. I'm joking, by the way. I'm fucking around. I don't know what they're hiding. What do you think they're hiding?
I don't know. We were looking at it right here. So you have like that big sundial, and then you have the temple, and then you just have these weird. Or no, the temple's right here, and you can see like the outlines of like the Roman, like the Greek Roman thing. But this is where the dome should be in the center right there. So that's the okay. So I've talked about this a lot, but how did this gold dome just fall off and no one ever found it? Like, wouldn't you see it in the ocean? Like, wouldn't it be on the ground? Like, how do you assume it would be
very like buoyant?
Yeah, you would think the thing would maybe go on its upside and then it would kind of like float, But we're just looking at the island. This whole thing is just so weird, Because that was so we look into the island, what's going on with that? So there's a court case right now, and the government's trying to seize the island. They're trying to take it. So the first thing before, they basically had this other case, and they're basically trying to get all the financial records from like JP Morgan, and then it was some other big bank from the, I think it's like the Bahamian government. It's like one of like those small, and people say like, oh, the money is, laundered in like the Caribbean or whatever.
Yeah.
So they just opened up this case and they're trying to get all the financial records to explain, a lot of it. Because a lot of the stuff that Jeffrey Epstein did financially, it was done through those banks. That's a huge part in the case when they open those up. Hopefully it solves a lot of answers,
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the island. We're talking about the financial records.
I gotta say that this is the most cursed island on Earth. This is the most cursed piece of land that you can think of, right?
Oh, 100%. And that's the other big thing about it is, so let's say the government takes the island back. Okay, so we'll back up a little bit. So Epstein bought the island for, I think it was like $8.5 million in like 1998. They estimate the value today of the island to be at like 75 or $85 million, which is nuts. So the government's going to take back this island, and then it's like, what are they going to do with it? Are they going to sell it? Are they going to turn it into like a tourist attraction? Who would buy that? Like if you had 85 million to buy an island, I'm sure I'd buy every other island but that one.
I could see that being like a place to like, hide things, like, build military weapons or something there if they want to. I don't know, like how big is that even?
It's pretty decently sized, so we can get like a scale. Is this we can go from here. Wait. Oh. Where's the ruler? There's like a ruler thing. Have you seen that? You know what I'm talking? Oh, right here.
No. Damn, I don't even know you can do this.
Okay, so this is like about 1 kilometer.
Oh, okay. Well,
Or it's about wait. Yeah, it's about 1 mile.
Yeah.
So it's about 1 mile there. And then it's like wait.
So of course, when you say the government's trying to seize it, it's the U.S. government, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're trying to seize it. Like, they want to see what's going on. What's on the island. But I mean, they've already raided the whole place. And then, someone in the chat was saying that there's this guy that goes on Tim Pool's show, and then he did this video where they actually like went onto the island, and they're like walking around, and they're like trying to open up the doors, and I had it right here. I don't know if you can see it, but they actually like went onto the island.
Yeah, there's like a delay. Oh, I see it now. Yeah. This is the drone footage, or
no? So this is better because I was like, oh, like the drone footage,
the newer one,
and they were like, no, they're like on the island. So that's it, like right there.
Yeah, that shit's creepy.
It's so creepy. It's so creepy. I can't. But have you seen this guy? He goes on Tim Pool's show a lot, and he talks in there.
Yeah, I haven't seen him before.
But yes, okay, so we're going over the island. The government's going to take it. The financial records are going to be opened up. Hopefully, we get some answers from that. And then it's like Ghislaine Maxwell. What's going to happen with her? Is that actually going to be coming into anything? Or is it just going to be a big nothing burger, as the media says?
Well, what's the situation with her? Isn't she in prison right now? Is she awaiting trial or something? What's going on with Ghislaine Maxwell?
So she's in prison awaiting trial, but then with COVID and everything happening, it like postponed the cases. So they're having
what are her charges? Hold on, let me look this shit up. I haven't.
Okay, yeah, so right here.
Okay.
They're being taped ahead of this upcoming sex trafficking trial. Yeah, this is like August 11th, so this is like recent. So it says Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly prepared to provide evidence to Prince Andrew in his sex abuse lawsuit.
Oh man.
Dude, I think that Prince Andrew thing is just going to be such like a dark, like, I feel like when that case goes on, there's just going to be so many, but then at the same time, it's like, the dude's like part of like British royalty, and it's like,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, is anything going to happen to Prince Andrew? I would see like something happening to Ghislaine Maxwell well before Prince Andrew.
And then we were talking about how like the first case against Jeffrey Epstein was in 2006, where it was like that 14-year-old girl. And then he was like getting these like massages from her. So then they brought on this like whole criminal case, and it took like years to even bring to Jeffrey Epstein. So when they finally brought it, they went to court. I think it was like a couple months in jail. And then how the jail worked is he got work released, and then he got weekend release. Yeah. So he would only have to go to the jail he would basically like from 8 to 5, he could go work. And then at nighttime, he would come back to the jail to go to sleep. And then on the weekends, he could take the weekends off and then just come back on Monday.
He was just chilling.
He was just chilling. Like, it was just like, I haven't even heard of any. That's like something that Al Capone, like that's something he would get,
Yeah.
So when that whole thing happened, Jeffrey Epstein is a registered sex offender. Like, on the registry, the whole 9 yards. So when Bill Gates was doing this they were going to run a foundation together. Jeffrey Epstein got in contact with Bill Gates, and then they were going to basically conjoin forces, and then Jeffrey Epstein was going to get financiers to donate money in, and then Epstein was going to take a 0.3% cut out of anything donated, so he would make money. And it was going to be called like the Global Health Fund. And then there's records, like the plane records of him like flying to the island. It says like Bill Gates, passenger, going to Little St. James. So then it's just like when that whole thing came out, that's just weird. Like, how did the Bill Gates thing just,
Well, did you see what like I saw something about like his wife divorcing him because like his proximity to Epstein or something like that. along other reasoning. I don't know, man. Like, so are you trying to basically what you're suggesting is like Bill Gates like tried to help him?
Oh, okay, wait. So sorry, I forgot my point. So so Jeffrey Epstein, registered sex offender. He's like on the registry, like wherever he lives, he has to register with the state. I'm a sex offender and I live here. So when Bill Gates they were doing this whole foundation, he was going to all these meetings with them. You don't think like Bill Gates being the billionaire he is, you don't think he does a little bit more due diligence into who he actually works with? Like this guy was a registered sex offender and he's going to open up a foundation with them. Like it's just nuts. Like how could Bill Gates not see that, or find that,
I think it's possible that he's, I don't know, maybe like say I don't really know about Bill Gates being like a sex offender or something, or like a friend to pedophiles or whatever. I know that Bill Gates is like the new boogeyman for a lot of conspiracy people, but I think it's probably like if you apply Occam's razor, it is possible that he's just one of the richest people on earth and he's extremely busy. And who he meets with, I mean, he probably meets with like more than a dozen people or 24 people a day, and he's probably involved in so many different things. So I don't know, but at the same time, Jeffrey Epstein did have like extreme reputation, even before that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It is strange.
Because it's just like for you or me, if we talk to someone and we find out they're a registered sex offender, like, okay, like we're just regular people. But, Bill Gates has got a team of people. Like Jeffrey Epstein was like going to the Bill Gates Foundation headquarters office and they have like meetings that were like, on record. They have like meetings on record, the whole 9 yards. It was like this thing they were doing for like months. And if you're going to partner up with someone, and as a billionaire as well, and do this foundation, you don't think not even like Bill Gates would like type in his name or anything, but
I think that there would be some sort of
someone in his chain of command would do a little bit of due diligence, like, hey, maybe this Jeffrey Epstein guy, maybe he's a little, maybe we shouldn't trust him, And it's crazy because even when the whole
go on. Sorry.
No, like when the whole Jeffrey Epstein the whole thing came to light, Bill Gates' name, he was really kind of left out of it. And it wasn't until his name got slipped up. It was when the whole divorce thing happened, and I think it was in like the divorce document saying like it was, and that's the other thing is that I feel like that's so hard to confirm that why she wanted to get divorced from him.
Yeah, see, I don't like, I heard there was some sort of infidelity. I didn't really look into that story all that much about like exactly why she divorced him, but I did hear that there was something to do, but that could also just be conjecture being passed around that I just consumed randomly and didn't really think about. At the same time, I did like when it comes to that vetting process, that it seems like that should be like a foregone conclusion that someone like Bill Gates would vet like everybody that he deals with. But at the same time, I do think that there is something about like people who are in that position who are so powerful and rich, that they might, like, not only would they might like look at other people who are also powerful and rich in a different light than just like, oh, well, he might have done that, but like, so like they kind of forgiving in a lot of ways, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're like in a pedophile cabal or whatever, but
not like a pedophile cabal. But it's like, okay, so like let's say it was Louis C.K. That he was going to partner up with. Okay, Louis C.K. has got allegations of whatever, and there's nothing like on record. It's not like an official court document or anything else. These are just allegations, and that's one thing that I would be like, okay, there were just allegations of Jeffrey Epstein doing this, and Bill Gates was like, oh, maybe not. But he was a registered sex offender, like registered, like
yeah. I've seen so many examples of institutions and like powerful people failing to recognize the people that they've dealt with in the past, and then later on trying to retroactively like fix their mistake in dealing with those people. Like it just seems to happen all the time, where they just lack oversight that seems like it should be necessary. I'm like I don't really, in my mind, I guess that Bill Gates is, yeah, he definitely is a boogeyman for a lot of people, but for me, I've never really understood why he is such a boogeyman to so many people.
So do you know about Bill Gates and like, so real quick, so on the screen, so that's the actual flight record from Jeffrey Epstein's private plane, the Lolita Express. You don't think that's a big red flag? But here's my other question to you. Why would one of the richest men in the world need to fly on another man's plane? You know? Like, I'm sure he could just fly. Like, why wouldn't he just fly his own plane and deal with it? Like, why would he need to go on Jeffrey Epstein's plane? And it wasn't like Bill Gates like flew into Florida.
Flew on that plane, though.
What?
A lot of people flew on that plane that you can't say.
But you don't think Bill Gates, like, I know with like a lot of like super high profile business people, like they have these I know it's like in like corporate governance documents where like for example Apple. So Tim Apple, what's his name? I just have Tim Apple right thing in my head. But the CEO Tim Cook. So Tim Cook, like this is like a lot of like big corporations. So the CEO or the board of directors, like any of those people, can't fly on the same plane. They all have to fly on separate planes in case there's a plane crash. Like they have these like strict rules. So, you know, like the VP of the company can't fly with the CEO in case one of them crashes, so the company doesn't fall into decay. So there's all these rules behind it, and Bill Gates being one of the richest men in the world. I don't know. I'm not saying he's the secret boogeyman, but you got to look at Bill Gates in the early 90s to understand why he's hated so much. And a lot of that hate...
Oh, no, I understand, like, he was cutthroat as fuck, yeah.
Oh, he was fucking hated, dude. Like, you see how he acted with the United States court, his what do you call it? Not bankruptcy, but like where I'm at a loss of words right now. What do you call monopoly? His monopoly case with the government. And the way he was acting in the, not indictments, but like those interviews that they do. Like, he was such an asshole. Like, he was such an asshole in those things. He was so smug and arrogant. And this whole thing he's done is just this big PR thing to just cover up all of that kind of stuff. And Jeff Bezos is going to be doing that. I guarantee it. He's going to be on this big PR binge, like trying to, you know... Basically, Jeff Bezos is trying to be like Elon Musk right now. You know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So you don't think Bill Gates is the real boogeyman?
Yeah, I don't know if he's part of the Luciferian cabal and you know, pedophile networks and all the things that a lot of people say about him. I don't know. See, like, I would love to castigate any multi-billionaire and like you know, say that they're evil people. I would love to have the opportunity to do that, but yeah, without like anything substantial, I just can't. Like, I see what you're saying though.
I'm just pointing out the weird.
I just say it is weird.
It's very.
It is weird. Like that. He did kind of. He was very dishonest about the dealings that he had with Jeffrey Epstein. He on more than one occasion he said, like, I think he said he only met him like once or twice, but it was clear that he's had a lot of dealings with him.
Yeah, so he said he met up with them, like he was like, "Oh, I met up with them and nothing really came out of it." And then one of the employees at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, she came out and went to like the New York Times and was like, "I have it on record. Like, they met up multiple times. Like, it wasn't just like a one-time thing. Like, they had this full foundation," and she was the one that really kind of like put this story out there. And I was talking about this earlier, but You know, it's like Bill Gates got divorced, and then everyone's kind of like shitting on him collectively as a society. And then it's like that's when kind of all that stuff just snowballs and, you know, kind of hits him. So then I think for her at this time, it was like, oh, you know, because if she said that back 3 years ago, I think people wouldn't have taken her seriously.
You know, I think that what the obvious story with Jeffrey Epstein is just like it is a lot more simple than the way that it might seem. It's just like, you know, like if you've seen The Godfather, like Fredo, you know the character Fredo.
Yeah,
he's the one who connects everybody. He's the party guy. He's the social guy who, you know, he connects people. He wines and dines them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Jeffrey Epstein. All of these multi-billionaires, they can get anything that they want in the world, and you know, these are people who are obsessed with power and domination, and they, in some of their minds, if they're perverted enough, think, okay, well, what is something that I can't have without someone like a Jeffrey Epstein? Well, an open harem to a bunch of underage girls. And that's the way I see Jeffrey Epstein, is just like this conduit for all of these rich and powerful people who wanted just to get their rocks off.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, eventually he got caught for it. And whoever's involved with it, I definitely think that Prince Andrew was involved with it 100%. And, you know, I hope he, you know, he's properly charged for, you know, his crimes, but I don't know if there's much evidence that like Bill Gates was.
Wait.
You know.
Oh, it was his wife. Okay. You know what? I had the chat. It was hidden. Okay. But yeah, if I'm wrong on that, yeah. We're just talking. I'm not trying to spread conspiracies, but it's a lot of weird stuff, you know.
It is a lot of weird shit.
Like the Black Book, I think that's one of the weirdest things. You know, like you go through it and it's just like Rupert Murdoch, you know, Steve Forbes, the guy that owns Forbes magazine. Rupert Murdoch owns like the Wall Street Journal, like all these crazy publications.
Yeah.
You have like the Duke of York, and you know, it's just weird. I mean, maybe I don't know. I think a lot of it is just this case is like, so like there's just so many questions that haven't been answered, and it just leads to crazy speculation. Like, how did he get this much money? You know, no one knows. You know, and that's pretty nuts when you think about it.
Well, I think he was set up where he, like, you know, set up by, you know, very rich and powerful people to be that conduit. I think he was someone who already had, like, if I was to like try and kind of like perform some sort of conjecture about how Jeffrey Epstein you know, made the money, got the position that he has, I just think that he got so many connections with rich and powerful people, you know, when he was younger. And I think that he already had a predilection for younger girls, and he was the person who could, you know, set them up. It's just he was a pimp for the rich and powerful, and I think that's you know, with the benefits that his friends gave him, and you know, the things that they permitted. It's just that's what you know, that's how he got to where he was.
Occam's razor. It's probably it was maybe just a big pimp, and because you've heard the other conspiracies where they say that he had all these. I think it was like from the FBI raids when they did on the island. They like found these like hidden cameras that were all around. You remember hearing about that?
Wait, sorry, say that again.
So when they raided Jeffrey Epstein's island, they found like hidden cameras throughout a lot of the rooms in the house, and then nothing really came out of it.
Like he was set up like where he's like an intelligence agent, and he was, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, right here. Jeffrey Epstein hid cameras,
rich powerful people to blackmail them.
Yeah, I mean that's like the theory is that he had all these cameras set up, and then he had these like dossiers on everyone that came over, so he had this big blackmail. And maybe I think that's possible. Maybe he just had a sick fetish and you wanted to watch videos. I mean,
I think both of those things could definitely be true. I would not be surprised whatsoever if he was working with intelligence agencies or even just like independent contractors or some sort of blackmail initiative. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever about that. A guy like that in that position, hell yeah. Why wouldn't someone try and make something like that happen?
Did you see the photo? So I think it was like the day that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There was this house right here. You know, it's like his NYC. You know, it's like crazy multi-million-dollar townhome. The day he committed suicide, there was a guy that went inside. He had the keys to the door. He went inside. He like cleaned. He just took out the most important stuff and he put it like in a big bag. And then the paparazzi like caught him walking out. And then it came out later that was Jeffrey Epstein's accountant or something that went inside.
Yeah.
And just like took all the stuff, and they're just like, oh shit, like who was this guy? Wait. Okay, yeah, so this is like a drawing of it. So it was like Jeffrey Epstein's like right-hand man. What's this dude's name?
What do you think he took?
Okay, so he was the co-executor on his entire estate that was worth $634 million. So one day after he died, this guy goes inside of his house and walks out with this bag. And this guy was the executor on the entire property. And then he was like his accountant and like right-hand man. And there's just not really anything known. Dude, this townhome's worth $77 million. What's going to happen to that? Because it's not like you can knock it down and just say, we're done, you know? Like when they have like those houses that some crazy murder will happen inside of it, and then the city will be like, we're just going to demolish the house and then put a park here or something.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, I have no idea.
But
I don't know the process. I thought that like the state would just like seize it or something, but I don't know. What's usually the process in that situation?
Well, usually the government will do like a civil asset forfeiture. I think that's what I'm pretty positive that's what it's called. And then they like take control of the property. But then I'm not too positive because there was that dude. So that dude, this guy basically took ownership of everything Jeffrey Epstein owned. So he like was his accountant. He was like this whole. So everything he owned went into the hands of that guy the day he died. And this guy goes inside of his house and takes this bag and walks out, and he's like never seen again. Richard Kahn.
Fuck. Wait, so everything he owns, so he owns the house, and does he own the island? What do you mean? So he owns everything?
Yeah, so it says he's the... There was the other... So he was his longtime accountant. Okay, so... which identified the mystery man as Epstein's longtime accountant and co-executor of his $634 million estate, Richard Kahn. The bag he was carrying, a source with close ties, Kahn said, contained Epstein's funeral clothes.
Uh-huh.
Did he have a funeral? We don't know. What happened to the body? There was like that one photo of him, right? They were like taking him out. I wonder where he got buried at. Or maybe he got cremated. Or... There's just so many weird things about the story that it's like, man, I just want to watch like a good documentary about it. Or someone to make a great YouTube video about it, but it's like, dude, the algorithm's not going to promote that.
Oh, I thought that would take forever. damn, like
so what's the next
so much to it.
next video you're working on?
Oh, it's some silly bullshit. It's so funny though. Okay. So have you ever heard of the secret space program?
The what?
The secret space program.
The secret space program. I want to hear it.
Okay. Okay, so look up on YouTube Super Soldier Talk.
What is it?
Super Soldier Talk.
Super Soldier Talk?
No, not. Yeah, Super Soldier Talk.
Talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this?
Oh, dude, there's such a delay because I'm watching your stream right now. So it's gonna. Yeah. So click on this guy. Yeah. So you see the guy with the Space Marine gun.
Okay.
In his profile picture. So yeah, click on the click on Super Soldier Talk. Sort by most popular. You know what? I'll just send you the link on YouTube. Basically, these are people who believe that they were abducted when they were children by a secret program, space program to fight like insectoids and reptilians on Mars and other galaxies. They believe that they were basically, so they were trained from the time that they're 5. They fight on these missions for like 20 years, and then their age regressed and then put back in time to the time that they were abducted. So then, they wake up the next morning and it's like they were never gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they do this, like all of this, like, meditation regression stuff to try and remember their past lives and stuff. So the guy who runs his channel, James Rink, he believes that he's a saber. He believes that he's a super soldier who fought on Mars for 350 years. That he has multiple clone alters. That
how did you find this, dude?
That have his consciousness. Oh, dude, it's some dude who I found it through a guy on my Discord server who was really into it, and he started telling me about it, and then I got really into it. But it is crazy shit. Dude, it is so far gone.
So is there like
so like here, like go to his like about page. You were just on it. I'm a MyLab operate Sinus Aberus avatars.
Oh wait, so they have a whole website, Super Soldier Talk.
Yeah, well, that's James Rink's website. I just bought his book actually recently, but there's some shit that you just looked up on Google a while ago because like this, like it's delayed. So
yeah.
But if you go on his YouTube and you look at his like about section, it looks like gobbledygook. Like I'm a MyLab operates Cebrius Aberus avatars and super soldier cyborg missions involving searches, rescues, and exterminations for Montauk and OW ops. So this should actually start, like, this makes sense to me now. So the first time I saw this paragraph, it just looks like complete nonsense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what he's saying is, I'm a MyLab. MyLab means military abduction. So he was abducted by the military, and he was put into his avatars were Cebius and Arbius. I don't even know how to say or pronounce those yet. But basically, he believes that he's like he was able to turn into a saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah.
And at one point, he also said that he was able to turn like he had like adamantium steel in his bones, so he can like like he had metal. So like even if he was shot, which he's never been shot, obviously. But
is
like,
this the book?
Shot.
It's called MyLab's Military Mind Control and Alien Abduction.
No. That's not James Rink's book. That's a different book.
I'm gonna open it.
But I know of this. I've seen this book before. I haven't read this book, but this is like pretty much like it covers the same shit. But no, the whole thing is wild. And it started basically like the whole conspiracy started with back in like 2002 with this stoner hacker who was going on like, because he wasn't even much of a hacker, he was just running like a basic script, and he was like going on he was able to get on access NASA's information. This guy Gary McKinnon, if there's anybody who so Count Danko, I made a video about him. So this guy's kind of like a proponent in this secret space program community, because like he continues to talk about like, you know, how he found information while he was hacking about this stuff.
But wait, before you tell the rest of the story, I'm going to put on some music. I'm going to put on some music to go along with this.
All right. But anyway, so like before I lose my train of thought. So yeah, put the music on while I do this. Yeah. So basically
tell me it.
So this guy is just kind of like pretty much he's kind of like a boomer script kiddie who was, you know, in the early days of the internet able to get onto NASA's get hack into NASA, but like there was a lot of people who were also doing the same thing, and the reason he got like, you know, charged for it is because he didn't really cover his tracks very well. But now he's like, he continues to like push this idea that he found out about like secret aircrafts and, you know,
this is Gary McKinnon
missions. Yeah. So it kind of started with him, and then after that there was a guy named Captain Randy Kramer, who isn't actually a captain of anything. He says he's been in the Marines since he was 5, which, you know, take that for, you know, right. So he believes that he was abducted as a child because he was an intuitive, and he had special abilities, and he was trained in these secret space programs to fight on Mars, to fight these insectoids, and then he was you know, by the time he was old enough, he was age regressed, which means like, you know, they used secret Nazi technology, because it all goes back to the Nazis with their technology that they found under the ice in Antarctica. See, it gets really confusing. But anyway, he was age regressed. He was teleported back in time, and then he realized later on that he's been on all of these secret space missions through this meditation, and you know, he pushes this conspiracy, and then there's a whole bunch of other people who come out of the woodwork, like this guy Corey Good, who says that he's another whistleblower in this movement, and he also had this thing happen to him. And there's Jason Rice. There's just like, there's a litany of these guys who like claim that they were part of these secret space missions. And you know, there's a lot of people who believe that there have been Nazi and U.S. military bases on the moon and Mars and a bunch of other galaxies since the early 1900s. And,
so are you going over the whole concept of my labs, or are you just talking about like one specific story?
No, I'm going to become a grifter.
A what?
I'm going to become one of them. I'm going to pretend. I'm going to infiltrate them. I'm going to learn as much as like. Is this going to be unlisted? Actually, I got excited there for a second. But you're going to unlist this, right? Or you're going to private it?
Yeah, I'm going to unlist it. So
I'm going to become one of them. My plan is to infiltrate their community and to become one of them, and get on onto the Super Soldiers talk. And you know, right now I'm just learning as much as about their lore, and I want to act like I'm a whistleblower, like one of these guys who are making millions of dollars, making up bullshit about this stuff. But there's like, I think like the guy who runs the Super Soldiers Talk YouTube channel, actually James Rink, actually believes it. So I think like that would be my conduit to get into it.
Oh, so you're saying that this whole thing is grifters?
Not all of them. So like I think that James Rink is like the guy who runs the Super Soldiers Talk. Is like
because I mean this book. This book is $96.
Yeah.
So you're gonna infiltrate the group, and then you're gonna act like a whistleblower.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I was part of the secret space program.
Dude.
Yeah, I was fighting the Anunnaki and the Draco reptilian lizards on Planet 3. And I remembered that through
how long is this gonna take?
I don't know. But yeah, that's what I've been working on now.
You could, don't give away anymore. I want to leave it a mystery.
Yeah.
You know that what's that cult where they all like died? The aliens in San Diego?
Oh, Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. So I saw this TikTok. Don't judge me, but I saw this TikTok of this guy that he basically so if you go on the Heaven's Gate website, it's still up to this day. And we'll pull it up right now. So you can still go on the Heaven Gates website, and then they have like one email to like contact them at. I mean, look at the site. Look at this thing. It's like straight from the 90s right here. So he contacts them, and then he's asking, hey, do you guys have any openings available for like the next thing? And then they actually email him back. So when this whole thing happened, there was one guy that didn't kill himself. And then he's the guy that still runs the website and the email, like still to this day. So then they emailed him back, and they were like, sorry, like this opportunity in the lifetime is already gone by. You're gonna have to wait till your next lifetime to capture your ride or whatever the heck it was. And then he was like trying to get more info. And then they basically like, they all these emails, and then it came down to buy our book for $30 to answer your questions. And there's just like a giant grift that just sell books.
Anything to make a little money, so.
But then he was like, at the end of the video, he was like, okay, man. Like, basically they said like, if you want the questions answered, send us $30 cash to this address, and we'll send you the book. And then the end of the video is him with like an envelope, like putting cash in. He's like, well, you know, they got me. Like,
dude, one of the guys who, this guy Corey Good, who talks about the secret space program a lot, he trademarked that term, the secret space program.
Dude.
So like no other grifter could like steal his grift, and now he doesn't. Now he's moved away from it. Now he's more of like a spiritualist guy, and now he doesn't talk about his you know, because he used to claim that he fought on Mars and stuff, but now he doesn't talk about it whatsoever.
So do you think it's a grift, or do you think they genuinely believe this?
There's some people who genuinely believe it, but I do think that there's like guys like there's like 3 of them for sure that are just like complete bullshit artists. Mm-hmm. So Corey Good, Jason Rice, and Captain Randy Kramer.
Yeah.
But then there's other guys like this guy James Rink. Like, dude, look up go back to the secret to the Super Soldiers Talk thing, YouTube channel. So that's James Rink, and I think that this guy who hosts this thing, like he genuinely believes it, because he's just like,
yeah, I'm gonna subscribe.
Yeah, no, it's well, you know, he had to delete 2 years of stuff recently because he's also a QAnon guy. All right, so go to videos and then go to you know what? So go to most popular, and I'll tell you which video to click in a sec.
Okay, so I'm on. Okay, so the only thing is the videos, they play back super choppy on here, but.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac right now.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah, we can try it. Couldn't say
you want to try it? It's like really it's just like a PowerPoint. And him like talking in the corners. It's not like that much info.
So which
screen,
one is it?
I guess. Here, let me just. I sent it to you on Discord actually.
Wait, reverse speech, George Bush, New World Order.
That's dude, that's like...
Or what?
No. I sent it to you on Discord.
Copy link. Ready to go.
So then, like, just watch like 2 minutes of this, and then you can get the sense like this guy's a true believer in this. He's just like, he's literally a fan of this conspiracy who just like, he dedicated the past like 12 years of his life to making content about it, and like, you know, looking it up and seeking out information. Like, he's just, you know, he's just,
I can't believe you're actually gonna like infiltrate them and like make it this whole thing. That's
my plan.
Bro, I'm not listening. This is 2 hours long. This is like
no. Watch like no, dude. It's the first it's literally the first 3 minutes. That's the best.
Okay. You guys ready for this? No, I'm ready.
All right.
We are talking about secret space reptiles and how people get abducted to Mars from the CIA.
No, from DARPA. DARPA and Kruger, which is a military contractor in the call.
Okay, here we go. Listen to James Rink lecture about the history of the secret space program, main groups of mini-labs, types of super soldiers, creations, programming. I am the infiltrator. That's what they call me.
Hello everybody, James Rink here. Welcome to Super Soldiers and Mill Labs of the Secret Space Program. So I've got a wonderful presentation for you about Mill Labs and Super Soldiers, as well as a history background for people who are interested in learning more about Super Soldiers and the Secret Space Program. Maybe we can close some of these doors so we can get some of the background noise out. And then we're going to go into the history, the different, some physical evidence that I have to back up at least some of my claims. Channel community soldier will work. I mean, the super soldier, obviously, they're going to use them over and over again, and typically they would put them on these 24, 60 year and back. Of course, they would go. So
go to like 1 minute. 1 minute.
Super soldier, this model, who obviously evidence that I have to back up at least some of my claims. Not all of them. Can't obviously prove all this, but I have some channel communications with Tian, who's a 14-foot tall reptilian from Reeds, who made super soldier, worked on super soldiers with the military. Different types of super soldiers and creation of programming, gen models, obviously in the process of all of that, and Alex Diaz, who was involved with this on missions that I did. So here's the definition of a super soldier. Obviously, they're going to use them over and over again, and typically they would put them on these 20, 40, 60 year and back. Of course, they would keep them in a young state. They would use different types of femto technology, which are biobots that are smaller than the size of quarks within the DNA, and we're going to go into that a little bit later. Memories are wiped over and over again. They're age regressed and put back in time moments before they were taken. So as you can see, you need a camera, 40,000 frames a second or faster to catch them in the act. So then we also have Manchurian candidates. Of course, they're sacrificial lambs. So they spend a lot more money on super soldiers than a Manchurian candidate, obviously. Then we have military abductions, the Mill Labs. So they are performed by members of the Secret Space Program and/or NGO military contractors, and I'm gonna list all those out for you. MK, mind control. That's a German word for mind control. And then we have Ultra, which is the basically you sometimes hear Mark Ultra. That's the ultra top secret group, part of military intelligence. So
it's just crazy. It's all crazy
information, at least initially, and the reason why I believe it's accurate.
So where's the evidence? I want the evidence, bro. I want to see the evidence.
Remote viewing brought this up as well.
Wait, so you're telling me you watched this entire thing?
Later on, but
I have watched hundreds of hours of Super Soldier talk, and also I subscribe to Gaia because they have this.
Oh my god!
They have this whole series of that's where Jason Rice's stuff is. I have spent so much time listening and taking notes. I understand the lore pretty well now.
The lore? Bro, this is their lives. This is not lore to them, man.
Dude, like, he's Agent Sabretooth. Like, you know.
This is like a giant, what do they call it? This is just like a giant LARP for space abduction people.
Yeah, no, it's like a boomer LARP, but at the same time, they really believe it. And it actually gets really sad in a lot of ways, because there's like a victimizer element to it, where like, or victimized element to it, where, you know, because they're abducted as children. And so if you're not like James Rink, who's Agent Sabretooth, if, for example, if you're a woman, in a lot of cases, they were abducted by these programs to be used as sex slaves and then age regressed and put back in time. So they were victimized, you know, and a lot of it, like, it just seems like it's a way for some people to just rationalize probably prior abuse that they've had in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like, these people, they genuinely believe this. It's not. I see, like, it is easy to call it a LARP too, because and I have called it a LARP a lot of times, but I think when you say LARP, you're implying that they believe that it's fantasy. They don't believe it's fantasy. They believe it's real, and they will pay. So, like, this guy James Rank, I'm gonna pay $200 just to have a hypnotism session with him, so he can hypnotize me.
Wait.
Yeah. So
you're meeting
so
up
I can
with
remember.
him? Wait, I didn't catch that.
What?
Wait, so so you paid $200 to get hypnotized by him, like, in person, or like?
No, I'm about to. I'm gonna once I have because I'm writing my backstory right now for my time as a super soldier before I was age regressed and sent back in time. So when I was in the secret space program, so once I get that down, I'm gonna pay for $200 USD so he could hypnotize me, do hypnotism regression, so I can remember my time as a super soldier, and that will be like my in with him as well.
But are you doing this like in person, or are you like doing it over like a video call?
Oh, it's gonna be over a video call.
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be over a video call.
So there's a lot of this scenario. He hypnotizes you. You've had your story in your head this entire time, but the hypnotism actually works on you, and then you end up revealing that you're actually trying to infiltrate his community. Thus, it plays into his lore. Then, you know, that could be a situation. What if he hypnotizes you and then you tell him that you're infiltrating his community, and then that just like confirms his beliefs even further, that he's actually in the secret space agent community?
I suppose I would say that I'm not that suggestible. I think that hypnotism is pretty bullshit. So,
have you ever been
yeah, once, but I wasn't hypnotized. It was just bullshit. But I think that with what he does, like, I've listened to the way he tries to hypnotize people. Let's just say it's not very professional. So I don't think James Rank is going to trick me into revealing my secrets.
So does this guy have a job, or is this like his full-time thing?
This is a full-time thing,
dude.
He's dedicated the past 11 years of his life to this.
So was he in the military or something, or he's just...
No. None of these people were in the military.
Does that look like a secret space agent?
Oh, those are his alters. Those are his clones.
No, I'm looking at his body positioning. If I got a green line, I put it through.
No. Because... So I don't know, because like the stream is delayed, but there was a slide that you just passed at 7 minutes 26 seconds. So it says Agent Sabretooth, James Mark Sabretooth, James Martin Rillsberg, James Ring. Those are his alters. Those are his clones. Those are the different bodies where, like, so he was cloned and then parts of his consciousness were put into those. and they were sent to different timelines to do different missions in different galaxies.
Dude, how do you... You're crazy, man. Dude, you're nuts. You're nuts.
I love nuts people, though.
Dude. Oh my god, man. That's... Dude. Oh, man. That's gonna be like... Is it gonna be like a full-on documentary? Please say yes.
I think it's gonna be like 20 to 30 minutes, like maybe like a short documentary, but it'll be fun at least, you know.
What if he ends up suing you?
For what?
I just saw that CoffeeZilla had him on his stream. He was so basically this guy, his like it's not CoffeeZilla, it's another dude. His whole YouTube channel is that he like infiltrates like pyramid schemes. Like he actually like goes into the pyramid scheme, like pays Marco, right?
Yeah.
Marco, right? Yeah. So he goes into these pyramid schemes, infiltrates them, like buys their books, goes through the whole thing, and then just like shows what a big crock the whole thing is. And then he came out with this video, like basically exposing this IM Academy. And then from there, like in the video, he was like, this thing's a scam, like F this, F that, they're all blah, 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 blah. And then now he's getting hit with like this massive lawsuit. And then I think he raised like $15,000 for it. Yeah, the Canadian guy that's getting sued. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, after seeing that, it's like, dude, that's some scary stuff, man.
I don't think I'll be sued for this because
you don't have the money to do it.
Yeah. Well, that and I don't think that. Like, what am I saying that? Am I like? It's just. I don't think it would pass like a discovery phase if it like. There's nothing to this, like at all. I'm just kind of exploring a weird subject matter. By the way, I gotta say real quick, Kronik mentioned Al Bielek, which is yes, Al Bielek is one of the prototypes. Well, not prototype. Like he was one of the first people to talk about like this kind of like he said he was part of the Philadelphia experiments, and he said that he time traveled, and and he was capable of teleportation through time travel, and basically he went to like 2100 something, and then after that he went like to 2900, something like that. Yeah, but yeah, Kronik, good shit, man. Al Bielek, yeah. I think it all starts with Al Bielek.
Wait, so you're saying not everyone can teleport? You can't?
No, you got to have a really good story like Al Bielek. Al Bielek also had a different in a different timeline. He was a different person. So it goes back with this stuff too, like the super soldier stuff where they talk about like the alternate realities and stuff like that. It all culminates in a bunch of different conspiracy theories. Like you see a lot of this shit in like with indigo children as well, and there's like a lot of like Nazi space UFO mythology behind it, which like
that's what I saw. Like, talking about the Nazi parallel Earth.
Yeah. So like, I mean, if you play like Wolfenstein or
okay, look. So it says Hitler did not implement the final solution, nor did he intern the Jews. No interracial marriage unless you want to live in the camps. The Washington Monument is blown up and replaced with a 150-foot column of a spinning eagle. The minimum wage is $40 an hour. Everyone lives in mansions. Most people drive Mercedes and BMWs that get a 50,000-mile battery range. The USA is split up amongst Germans in the east and the Japanese in the west coast. Hitler and Tesla are still alive.
And yeah, by the way, I gotta say real quick, Kronik is right. Yeah, I fucked it up. Yeah, the Montauk Project. But yeah, so this is the Nazi parallel Earth where the Draco reptilians and the Cabal didn't support the Nazis, and therefore, they didn't go ahead with the final solution.
Is the Montauk Project a real thing?
No, of course
it's
not.
a conspiracy theory.
Well, I think the Montauk Project. Well, there is like buildings. There was a Montauk Project, and there are buildings that Stranger Things is based off of that, and like you can go to like the Montauk Project building still, but like the way that LB like explains it, and like the idea behind the experimentation, where like they were doing like putting radiation on people so they can have like what's it called, like what is that shit called again, like science, like telekinesis abilities, and like they could like somehow randomly like make shit appear and shit like that that's all fake.
Oh, it's not?
So it's like I mean like
real?
a lot of conspiracy theories, it's based off of something that exists, but the way that they extrapolate it to make it into something that is fake is like, I mean, it's like they fictionalize something that's based off of reality. It's like, like I don't know if you like watch like Alternate History Hub or something. It's like some kind of like, it's that kind of thing.
Oh, I see. Do you like that, the Alternate History Hub?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I like that. I like a lot of conspiracy theories just because like it's fun for the imagination, right? But I don't really believe in a lot of them.
Dude, you're like the conspiracy master, because I never, ever heard about this super soldier talk. This shit's so weird, dude. Dude, I can't wait. So this guy right here, he's going to be the one that's, here, I'll let it pop up in a minute. But the guy that was giving that talk, so he's the dude that's going to be hypnotizing you.
Yeah, once I pay him.
Dude, best of luck, man. That's some crazy stuff. I feel like that could be such a good like video, like a video series, is like infiltrating. Like, I wouldn't really call this a cult.
It's just a dumb conspiracy theory online.
It's just like a dumb conspiracy theory, like infiltrating these like, conspiracy theories, and then just like seeing just like how crazy these people are. It's like not even online, but like behind closed doors, like how nuts the shit they believe is, Dude,
I wish that if COVID wasn't happening, they would have had a conference in Toronto. So like I would have been able to just go there, but instead, like, yeah, I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to contact them online and stuff.
I like this. You can tell if someone is an SS by looking into their eyes.
Yeah, they have Nordic eyes.
So this is like some like racist. This is like some pretty racist stuff, right?
Well, in their mind, right? So the idea is that when they're talking about SS, they're talking about a different type of SS that went to Antarctica and then became SS. So the Antarctic Germans, and then the Antarctic Germans ended up becoming the Mars Germans. So those SS officers, those Germans basically, they didn't support the Nazi Party, and they rejected Hitler near the end of the war. So in their mind, that's how they justify it, I guess. But there is a lot of like, I mean, it goes back to a lot of like this Nazi like occultism and like, well, it's like Wolfenstein, right? It's like this like Nazi UFO. That's a conspiracy that's been around for so long, too.
Like the Nazi occult stuff, like
Nazi occult stuff and Nazi UFO stuff.
I know the UFO, like I know like the UFO stuff is pretty. I know that's like a huge thing. Like, what's that one? It was like the saucer that they like were trying to develop or something like that, or
it's the one that they kept seeing during the war, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah,
and that's like it's where the name the Foo Fighters, the band, came from.
Wait, why do they have the kid that was in the what was that video that blew up? Like maybe it was like a month ago.
Oh yeah, that's the school shooter. Yeah, he was Yeah, he was basically a super soldier, and he was MK Ultra'd into committing committing what's it
Dude,
called, like a shooting.
what is wrong with people?
Yeah, they also did the same thing for Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is it was MK Ultra, he was a clone or something like that. Yeah, they have a bunch of stuff like that.
That's it. The bell-shaped time machine. That was it. It's like that big bell they found and it had nothing in it.
Yeah. The Andromeda machine or something like that?
Yeah, it was something trippy like that. Dude, you know what was weird? So, I did this whole, like, thing. Okay, so I had, like, this whole script done into Kevin Spacey, and I was just, like, looking into this, this whole, like, what happened? You know, like, what's the story behind that dude? And 3 of his accusers ended up all dying within the span of, like, 8 months.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so weird.
There was, like, one that got in this, like, really nasty car accident, like, one that got in a car accident, one that died, like, it was just weird. I just remember, it was, like, or I think it was, like, 3 or 4 months. It was some crazy time span. They all died, and they were, like, the biggest ones that were, like, they were, like, the biggest victims, like, making, you know. It's just weird, you know, like, why?
Yeah.
Why did they all die? I mean, I don't think he killed him or anything, but, you know. The whole Kevin Spacey thing is super trippy, because it's like he's going through that court case right now. And then, yeah, that. But have you heard anything about Corey Haim?
Corey Haim, yeah, for sure, yeah.
So who were the 2 Corys back in the 80s? It was Corey Haim, and then who's the other one? Corey Felt.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, fuck.
Corey
like,
Felt.
I know the name. I know who you're talking about. He was in
Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
So someone commented on my YouTube video, the Jared Fogle one, and they were like, "Man, if you want to look into something real crazy, like look up the whole story of like Corey Feldman and how he's like, you know, just like all the abuse that he's done, and then he's like trying to like piggyback on all these other people's abuse cases, and then he like made this like fake documentary that had this like huge hack, and then so I was kind of looking into the whole story. So, you know, Corey Feldman, he was like big in the 80s. He was like in the Goonies, and then he did a lot of stuff with like Corey Haim at the time. And then Corey Haim died of a drug overdose. Corey Feldman was on drugs. And then it was kind of like recently within the last like 5 years. So when the Me Too movement came out, Corey Feldman started like hopping on every single person that started coming out, being like like accused of something. And then he would just like hop onto it as well. So there was like all these like fake accusations he was making. And then this guy in the video said that he's making all of these accusations, and then he even made a whole documentary. It was like a $2 million documentary that he made. And the whole thing was basically saying like Charlie Sheen like abused him when he was young and blah, blah, blah. And it was like all this stuff. But then they were saying that like he was the accuser. Yeah, the rape. Yeah. I guess there's like some weird story behind that with him. He's just like this big, like, not a grifter, but yeah, I don't know if he knew anything about that.
I think he's just like unwell. Yeah, no, I remember all that shit. Yeah, when it took place. Yeah. He was also really close to Michael Jackson, by the way. And
yeah, that was the other thing too.
He emulated him like crazy. Like he used like he would dress like him and dance like him, and he was obsessed with Michael Jackson and like knew him.
What did you think about that that Leaving Neverland?
I don't know.
Did you see that?
Know. Yeah, I've seen it. Well, I saw like the first part, but yeah, I don't even know if I finished it. It was really heavy. Yeah, I don't know. I think Michael Jackson was like like one of the most talented people, entertainers of all time. But I do think like, I mean, he was sharing his bed with kids. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things like, oh, his bed was huge, or oh no, they were having sleepovers and like his room was like was like an apartment in his room, and it was, just a lot of different interpretations of it. But yeah, I don't know. I heard something about like one of the accusers accurately described, because he had vitiligo. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
They accurately described like the patterns on his testicles of his skin disorder. At one point, I thought that was strange. He did a documentary with Martin Bashir in like 2003, and he like straight up says in it that, yes, I share my bed with children. I just think there's something very strange about, even if he was very childlike, there's something very strange and suspect about a guy who shares his bed with children.
Yeah, that part, and then I remember the bed thing was crazy, and then remember that one story where the kid was talking about the rings? Like, it was like the rings that Michael Jackson would give him. And then it was like every time he would have sex, he would like take him out to the store and like buy this like ring. And then during, like, he was talking about like this ring story, and Michael Jackson gave him these crazy rings and like diamonds and all this crazy stuff. And then at the end of this dude's story, he like goes inside of his pocket and he pulls out a little box, and it's like all of these like crazy like diamond rings, and you're just like, oh my god, they're real. I just remember that story. That one just stuck with me.
Yeah, dude, like, why are you buying rings for a kid? Like, I don't know. Why are you sharing your bed with a kid, and why are you buying rings for a kid? And like the testimony in that documentary is so vivid. I don't know how much, like, I mean, someone could be like extremely coached and get their story really straight, and there could be a lot of editing tricks to make it, and to make it seem way more compartmentalized. But at the same time, I guess when I was watching it, I believed them. The guy's dead. Michael Jackson's dead. A lot of people grew up listening to his music. He is like a born entertainer. He's phenomenal. And it just sucks, you hear something like that, and then I don't think people want that to be tainted. I guess at the end of the day, I understand people wanting to let a legend be a legend and leave it at that.
It's because they went over the court cases for a little bit and kind of like why, like the timing, and then there was just so much weird stuff with that dude. It's kind of similar to the whole like Jeffrey Epstein thing, where there's just like so many things that are so crazy and weird about it that it almost just kind of like overwhelms you. And it overwhelms really anyone trying to follow it. And then there's just kind of, I don't know. Like, it's just not like a simple thing where it's like, oh, he did this and this was bad. There's just like so many things, like so much evidence. And
yeah, well, in the absence of any like obvious, facts to it, right? So like, what are you gonna do? Like, all you're left with is your interpretation of it, and and like the conjecture that you can add to it, or like how you can spin a web to make sense of it, and that's a very exhausting pursuit, I think.
What did you think of Tiger King? It's a trip is that came out almost like a year ago. Remember when that movie came out? Everyone talked about that thing.
Damn, it's only been a year?
It's probably been more than a year. I just remember it was like the beginning of COVID. Everyone's like freaking out, like no one knows what to do, and everyone's staying at home. And it was like the perfect time to put out a documentary like that, because everyone saw that. That was like a cultural phenomenon,
Yeah. Actually, I've only watched like, I think the first episode and a half of it. I could never get through it for some reason.
Dude, that's like totally up your alley, man. That's like
I know.
Oki's weird stories, like that. That's you, bro. That's you.
I guess I don't know. I guess I felt like it was like kind of stretched out, and I don't know. I just didn't really get into the way that they presented it. I suppose, and so I just like looked it up, and so I know like all the story.
Yeah.
I just didn't watch the docuseries.
Because someone put out this YouTube video and they were talking about, like people watch a documentary and they think it's this very objective thing, where it's like they're just presenting the facts and then this is what happened and blah blah blah. But the reality is that a lot of these documentaries, they're always made with like this underlying intentions. But like a really good documentary, it was this whole video. The guy goes, I think it was Quinn Reviews. I don't know.
Quentin?
Yeah, he made this video talking about why the Tiger King, like how it manipulates you. Like, you watch the movie and at the very end of it, you're like, the Tiger King should be released. He's not guilty. Carol Baskin is the killer. But then it's like, you look into the court case and just like all the evidence, like, dude, the Tiger King guy did some like seriously like fucked up shit, like killing the lions and like shooting them in the back and like burying them. There's like dozens of these like tiger bones that they found. Because they would like basically the only time they made a lot of money with these tigers was when they were cubs and they could take them and show them around. So when the tigers got too big, because now you got to feed them a ton and all this stuff, they would just kill the adult tigers because it was just too much of a pain. They only wanted to have the cubs. So they had all of these like bones. They like excavated the entire zoo and they found all of these bones from all of the adult tigers that he killed just because it was just too much. He didn't want to take care of them. The guy claimed, and then it's like the Carol Baskin. It's like, but that whole movie, it's just crazy how like it really just leads you into just thinking that dude's, the whole story.
Well, I think
was so crazy. I'm surprised.
Is the issue with a lot of things. Like, I mean, it's like there's that issue with documentaries. The same issue with nonfiction books and journalism. It is really hard if you have, when you're like, this, you make kind of like videos like similar to mine. It's when you go over a story, you're obviously gonna have your opinion about it, and I think that even if you try and be as objective as possible, sometimes it's very, very difficult to not inadvertently or just like decide to fuck it, this is my stance. And like I don't know if there's anything like there's any way to be truly objective about something.
Maybe.
And at the same time, like you get like a lot of it is entertainment. Like a docuseries like that is entertainment at the end of the day. So they are looking for a way to engage the viewers and to create a narrative to it. And whether you think that a documentary should be made like that or not, it's up to you. But it definitely does make for compelling entertainment at the end of the day, And I the whole idea of like Carol Baskin or whatever her name is, guilty, going trending after people watch Tiger King. Maybe that's like what made it such a phenomenon is like that. Like not only the craziness of that guy's life, but like the angle that they took with it.
Oh, it was like this total like
right practice or not. Yeah, if that's the right practice or not, I personally try and do my best to be as objective as possible. But like I've definitely covered people like I don't know, like I covered Jacob Wall recently.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be objective about a guy like that. Like,
and that's fine.
So like I can present or not be objective, but like feel objective about him, I suppose. Like the way I present it, everything's factual. But I make fun of him. I talk about, I add my own personal interpretation into it, and
yeah, I guess it's more.
I've thought about this a lot, but like I'm not really decided either way, to be honest. Right at this point, I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
I mean, everything's gonna have a hint of bias to it, or it's I think it's maybe something can be objective, but I guess this video I saw, it just really opened up my eyes to how, because I've always watched documentaries like, oh, cool, that's like the facts, this is what happened, and it's, now I'm a knowledgeable person in the world, but the reality of it is that a documentary it's just a piece of entertainment, Yeah. That's all that really comes down to, and there's always these, like, and I understand, like, bias, like, there's objectives, like, you watch that Blackfish, and the objective is obviously like SeaWorld's terrible.
It's activism. Yeah.
But
like that movie's activism, right?
But the Tiger King was such a masterful piece because it's like, dude, you come out of that movie and everyone wanted Carol Baskin. Carol Baskin literally runs the wildlife reserve that rescues the tigers, and somehow she comes out of that movie looking like the worst fucking person. Like, it just blows my mind, dude.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I think that there is a difference between, like, you ever watch YouTube channels where it's basically they're reading a Wikipedia article, and they're kind of doing like what we do, but like it's extremely dry, that the way that they do it,
Like me,
I mean,
that's what I do.
Are you reading? You don't read Wikipedia articles. Like, yeah, I mean, you present it with, like, you have some sort of creative vision with it, right? Like, but when you like, if you're gonna just like do it like an encyclopedia, it ceases to be entertaining, and it becomes incredibly dry. And yeah, I think you should try as best as you can to stick to the truth while doing it. But I think that, like, good documentaries definitely have narratives to them, and they have arcs, and they're properly dramatic, and yeah, that's what makes them compelling. The good ones, at least.
The good ones.
The boring ones, it's like, dude, just fucking read a wiki article, because that's like, this is what this thing is doing.
Well, I hope you're as objective as possible in the super space soldiers, but I gotta go to bed. I gotta be up super early.
Dude, it's 3 a.m. here. Holy shit.
Oh my god. Oki's in Canada. Yeah. I'm gonna link his channel.
Oki's Weird Stories on YouTube. Yeah. I don't know when the Super Soldiers thing is gonna come out, but yeah, I'm gonna maybe like a month or two.
Okay, here's the video link right here. You guys want to learn about Oki's Weird Stories? It has like 800,000 views. It is probably one of the craziest things I've watched. I love it. Documenting a modern psychopath.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Vince. Yeah, this has been fun.
I had a great time.
I'm glad I caught this. Yeah, and you invited me to join. VidCon's canceled, by the way, but I'm pretty sure we're still gonna go do the Airbnb. So probably meet up in October.
Yeah, it's almost even better, honestly.
But and then I gotta fucking email the school bar near there so I can get the Steve Rocco tapes.
Oh, I have that. I have the card. It's in my bedroom, but I'll send it over.
Okay, sick, dude. All right. Okay.
Cool, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I had a good time.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.
Peace. Okay. So it looks like that's the end of the stream. I got to be up super early. But thank you guys so much for watching. I had a really good time. I hope you guys did too. So I think pretty soon we're going to start going over some other mysteries. Mysteries and just kind of strange stories like that. I got a whole list right here. I have 4 pages, not double spaced, all single spaced, full of ideas. Like we could go on for days about this. It's all good, man. It's all good. Next time, dude. It's going to be a great time. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I had a blast, and you guys have a good night. Or good morning, if you guys are over there. So, peace.